Thank you for helping us make this an enjoyable area for everyone.
Discover the incredible mission of Samaritan's Purse at Sun 'n Fun. Tour their DC-8, the only U.S. registered DC-8 in the world, used for critical relief missions after major disasters. Explore a portion of their emergency field hospital and see the water filtration system that travels aboard this life-saving cargo plane. Don't miss this unique opportunity to learn how Samaritan's Purse brings hope and help worldwide. Tours are open daily. Come be inspired.
Welcome to Sun 'n Fun. We want everybody to have a great time this year, but there are a few simple rules to be followed. Please be careful around all moving airplanes. Spinning propellers are very dangerous and hard to see. Please make sure your lawn chairs are attended at all times so they do not blow into aircraft or injure people. Please closely supervise your children at all times. No smoking or food is permitted on the flight line. Pets are only allowed in the campground and must be leashed. For the complete set of rules, please go to flysnf.org. Have a great time.
We've got the Whip Air Caravan, which we call the Yukon. This is a 25% shorter takeoff roll and no loss in cruise speed. So this thing is an absolute monster in takeoff and climb.
Can you hear that behind me? That's the sound of innovation, and it took center stage Monday night during the Sun 'n Fun Innovation Preview. Sun 'n Fun Radio was there to cover all of the excitement. The annual Innovation Preview showcased the cutting edge of aviation technology, with industry leaders presenting their latest developments that promise to reshape the way we fly. From digital flight instruments to revolutionary aircraft designs, this event highlighted the incredible pace of innovation in general aviation. Let's take a look at some of the most exciting announcements. The digital revolution continues to transform cockpits across general aviation. Jim Turner, general manager of Kelly Manufacturing Company, introduced their latest line of digital instruments that make upgrading from traditional steam gauges simpler than ever.
Going digital is easy with RC Allen instruments. Easy to install, power and ground basically on most of them. Fits in standard panel cutout. You don't have to add anything or take anything away from your panel. We even give you the screws and the plugs. Multi-voltage works from basically 9 to 32 volts, so you don't have to worry about the voltage of your aircraft. Reliable, solid state, FAA TSO.
Safety innovations were a major theme at this year's preview. Abid Faruqi from Silverlight Aviation introduced a groundbreaking safety system specifically for gyroplanes.
So GWS, or Gyroplane Warning System, a new technology that actually warns the pilot by audio that 4 or 5 seconds before something drastic will happen, it will actually warn the pilot that you are about to make a mistake that will cause catastrophic event, so they have time to react and essentially abort the takeoff. Similarly, it will also warn them about in-flight emergencies, like if they're going to low Gs.
This predictive analysis technology could be a game changer in preventing accidents, particularly for pilots transitioning from fixed-wing to gyroplane flying. By providing critical warnings before situations become unrecoverable, Silverlight's system addresses one of the key safety challenges in this growing segment of aviation. Hartzell Propeller.
And now back to the Sun 'n Fun Radio Deck, brought to you in part by the Green Bay Austin Straubel International Airport.
And welcome back to Chats from the Deck Live, coming to you from the 51st Annual Sun 'n Fun Aerospace Expo, where we're turning up the fun at 51. And that's right, folks. If y'all wonder why I'm always looking down when I say that, this is why. There's my cheat sheet. I put out there, I know it by heart, but I read it just to make sure that I don't flub it.
Oh, you've actually modified it. Maybe you don't even realize it.
I did modify it. Okay. I'm the boss. I can do that.
I completely understand. I'm not criticizing. I'm just.
And you modified it too. I heard you modify it.
Well, okay.
You think I'm not listening? You know, social media in aviation has really, really gone kind of crazy, and things have exploded for aviation in the social media field. And I joined a group. I was invited to join a group, and I thought, well, this looks interesting. I'm going to go ahead and do that. And that's the Aviation Home, and I forget the actual name of the group, but Aviation Real Estate, basically. And we have on the deck, who do we have? Let me bring this up, Eric McCormick. I communicate with you all the time, and I go to say your name, and I'm bleh. I love my job. Good thing I'm a volunteer.
Yeah, Eric is the founder of Aviation Home and Hangar, which apparently runs. For example, they're on the regular internet. They are at aviationrealestate.com. Hi, Eric. How you doing?
Good, Jack. Thank you. Very appreciative to be here.
Well, we're glad to have you.
We're glad you're here.
Tell us a little bit about your operation, the things you do, the services you offer.
Well, thank you, Jack. So, Aviation Home and Hangar is a group of aviation enthusiasts and real estate professionals who love aviation who specialize in aviation real estate. Hangars, air park homes, private ranches, anywhere you can land and call it home, or maybe it's just a hangar.
Mm-hmm. Is that a segment of real estate that's doing well these days, or how does it compare to everything else?
So aviation real estate historically is immune from interest rates and many of the common real estate ups and downs. We have high net worth buyers and highly desirable properties.
Mm-hmm. Are new air parks being created, or is it just a question of turning over the lots on ones that exist?
So absolutely, Jack. We have probably 20 new air parks in development nationwide. And yes, they're definitely being new.
And what's involved? And I own a couple thousand acres, and I want to turn it into an aviation community, complete with a strip.
Great.
What's involved in doing that? Well, I don't really. That was kind of a hypothetical situation.
So the answer is money. Okay. And time and effort. So if you want to start your own air park, we consult with private owners and developers on the start to finish and then the sales process. So it's part of what we do.
Cool. And now, as a part of what you do, what's the primary of what you do? Is homes on air parks, or?
So there's 3 types of aviation real estate that we sell, but our underlying goal is advocacy to protect the air parks from, let's just call them people who...
Karens.
Yeah, we'll call them people who don't necessarily love aviation. We want pilot buyers or aviation enthusiasts. If not, it can turn bad. So we have a formula to help keep those guys with pilot communities.
Okay, so you advocate for the existing air park and new air park communities. That's great.
Yes, sir. But I didn't answer your question. The types of real estate we primarily focus on are air parks, so homes and hangars.
Okay.
And a little terminology: if it's a hangar home, it's more hangar than home. If it's a home and hangar, it's more of a traditional home with a hangar out back.
So, I like that. Yeah, that's interesting. Okay, all right, yeah.
So that's one of the 3 types. The second is a hangar, just a straight aircraft hangar, and then the third would be a private ranch, such as mine in Arizona. We have 6AZ2. I'm also the airport manager there.
Ah, So you actually live on your very own airport.
Yes, sir.
This isn't a community.
Yes,
this
sir.
Is your property, your private. That cool.
Yes, sir. My
What's
father.
your landing fees? Come by and visit.
A pizza.
A pizza. We got to bring in a pizza.
Bring a pizza. Bring a pizza. How does so someone, a pilot based at some airport around the country, is thinking, this sounds like the lifestyle, I'd like to pursue this. I mean, obviously they could just give you a call, but what's the thought process they should be going through to make this decision?
So typically it takes approval from the other half, but once you pass that gate, then the reality is living in an air park can actually be more affordable than housing your hangar at a regional airport. There's also the convenience factor of being able to come out and kiss your airplane anytime you want.
Yeah.
So,
although I'll tell you one odd disadvantage to living on an air park. Those of us who fly out of regular airports get used to the idea that you're flying and you're going to land soon, and you're thinking, okay, but I need something. I'm going to stop at the store on the way home. All right, from the airport. But when you're with your buddy who lives in an air park and you're going to land, and you go, oh wait a minute, we're not going to go buy a 7-Eleven on the way home. What are we going to do? So
did you not see Cannonball Run?
Yeah. So it's a little bit of a different lifestyle. Where are there areas of the country that have a higher density of residential air parks than others?
Absolutely, Jack. That's a great question. The higher density areas all revolve around the desirability. So, Florida, for example, actually for my company is better than the other big show, and we have 75 plus residential air parks in Florida. So there's a lot to choose from.
Mm-hmm.
Price ranges from a home and hangar, maybe $500,000 in the Vero Beach area, up to $4 or $5 million in the Wellington area.
Yeah. Is California another big dense area for this kind of thing?
So California actually does not have a lot of air parks, and
really, okay.
Washington is the number 3 state, and then Texas would be number 2.
Okay, so Florida is number 1.
Yes, sir.
How many?
Over 75, Dave.
Over 75. Now I know just in my area where I use my area now is Lakeland. Where I used to live down in the Palm Beach County, southern Palm Beach County, we had 2 residential air parks really close by. We had Antiquers Aerodrome, right there in Delray Beach, right just east of the Turnpike, and we had Willis Glider Port out off of 441 in Boynton Beach.
Yeah.
And so we had 2, and I'm not surprised that we are number 1 because Florida's number 1 in them, because that is
Sure.
That many, right? And
Yeah.
then Wellington, I've been out to the Wellington Aero. It's the Wellington Aero Club, right? I believe
Yes,
it's
sir.
called. Yeah, I've been out there. Beautiful area, beautiful homes. But yeah, they are considerably more expensive than.
Yeah, I mean, and Florida has the benefit, the advantage of also being one of the, just in terms of number of pilots, or number of airplanes, it's one of the busiest states in that regard. Yeah, Dave, you know this, but when I come down here, when I'm not here at Sun and Fun, I stay with a friend of mine who lives at Hidden River Air Park, over
somewhere near Sarasota.
somewhere near Sarasota, Florida. And,
I had to make him say it. That's a podcast line.
And a very, very pleasant place, a nice little airport. It's, I mean, as airports go, it's fairly small, but it does the job. And he lands and then taxis to up his driveway and into his hangar, which is right next to his. I'm not sure whether he kisses his airplane, but I'm going to have to look into that now. But you never know.
And the funny thing about Jeb's place is he's across the residence road from the runway. Most of the hangar homes, people think you're right on the runway. You taxi out of your hangar and you're running down. But Jeb's particular place happens to be across the street. It's really cool. Yeah, he comes up, he goes down his big long driveway, makes a big U-turn driveway to get in.
Yeah, I mean, you go through the gate into that community, and there's a sign, a couple of signs at the gate, and one of them says "Yield to taxiing airplanes." All right, because the roads that the cars drive in to get to the homes is the taxiway. All of the mailboxes are shorter, and set back from the curb, from the edge of the pavement.
Okay, we're going to run out of time here. Hidden River's a great place. I'm going to cut you off so I can talk to
your information.
Eric here again. Now, you're here on the grounds. Where are you here on the grounds?
Thank you. So AOPA is right next to us. I used to say that other way around. So aviationrealestate.com. You can make contact with us, and we can help you with your buyer or seller needs regarding aviation real estate.
Okay, and you said you're right next to AOPA, so you're about across the street from us, right?
Yes, sir.
All right. So stop by and see him now. For those that somebody might be listening outside of the fly-in, how do they get hold of you? Go ahead and give that website again.
Yes, sir. Thank you. It's aviationrealestate.com.
aviationrealestate.com, and the Facebook group is
Aviation Real Estate - Aviation Home and Hangar. We have almost 40,000.
Wow. I'm glad to know that I'm part of a big group there. So, again, we've been speaking with Eric McCormick of Aviation Home and Hangar. Eric, thanks for the time. I'm sure you got to get back and man your booth. We will see you in the funny pages and here on the grounds.
Very honored. Thank you.
We're coming back in just a few minutes with Women Shine at Sun and Fun, presented by WAI. For Sun and Fun Radio, I'm Dave Shellbitter. We will see you soon. Jack, thank you so much for being here. Thanks to my crew. Thanks to my engineers. I could not do it without my volunteers. I'm looking at her. Wave, Sarah. You're on the stream. Seeing volunteer Sarah in the background there of flysassy.com.
Hello, this is Kevin from the Let's Talk Flying podcast. You're listening to Sun and Fun Radio, WPEP 788, 1510 AM, and online at liveatc.net/SNF.
Hey kids, are you interested in learning about science or parachutes? If you are between grades K through 6, you can attend a Piedmont Aerospace Labs workshop. These exciting labs run from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. daily in the Kids Zone, located at the front entrance. The Kids Zone is also packed with many more cool aviation-themed activities, including a rock wall, obstacle course, space shuttle slide, combat trainer, and much more. Remember, the Kids Zone is located near the front entrance. For more information about ride ticket requirements and prices, visit flysnf.org.
Prepare for edge-of-your-seat excitement at the Stoll Invitational during Friday night at Sun and Fun 51. The Sunset Aerial Circus, presented by the new TL Sports Sirius Backcountry, brings aviation's most explosive competition to Sun and Fun 2025. Masters of backcountry flying from all over North America will push their aircraft to impossible limits, demonstrating precision and skill that defies convention. Join host John Jughead Council as he guides you through every breathtaking moment. Catch the action tonight, Friday night at 7 p.m. on Grass Strip 826 in Paradise City.
Need a pick-me-up? Swing by Legendary Aviation Coffee Company, your official coffee sponsor of Sun and Fun. You can find them in Hangar A at booth A1 or on the flight line across from Coconut Flyers. They're giving back. 10% of all sales in Hangar A and 25% of flight line cup sales go to Sun and Fun's nonprofit. And for all of April, 10% of online sales at legendaryroasters.com supports the cause. Sip, enjoy, and make a difference, one legendary cup at a time.
Sun and Fun's volunteer jet team hospitality ensures the comfort and enjoyment of our visiting jet team friends and family by offering hospitality services such as shuttle transportation, snacks and beverages, local information, and more to our guest jet teams. Additionally, they coordinate a meet and greet between the jet team and local youth groups, allowing them to experience Sun and Fun firsthand and create lasting memories. Thank you, Jet Team Hospitality, for making the Blue Angels feel welcome this year.
Church services. A non-denominational church service will be held on Sunday prior to the event at 9 a.m. in the MASA tent in the Light Plain Paradise City area. Daily devotionals will be held every day in the MASA tent in the Light Plain Paradise City area from 9 to 9:30 a.m. Catholic Mass will be held on Saturday of the event at 5 p.m. at the CFAA building, the high school. A non-denominational church service will also be held on Sunday of the event at 8:30 a.m. in the Light Plain Paradise City area.
Looking for the perfect gift or souvenir? Airport Mugs just landed with premium ceramic mugs featuring all Bravo, Charlie, and Delta airport codes in America. Airport mugs are printed with your favorite airport code on one side and runway sectional information on the other. Use discount code MUGS20 at checkout for 20% off. Visit airportmugs.com. That's airport-mugs.com today and elevate your hot or cold beverage experience.
While we all have good views of the action here at Sun and Fun, if you're a professional photographer looking for the best views possible, then you will want to check out the preferred photo seating area. This area allows an unobstructed view of the air show and other event activities. It's located adjacent to the preferred seating along the flight line and the air show announcer stand, so you know that's where the best of the action is. There is an extra fee of just $30 in addition to the event admission, and more details are available at flysnf.org.
You are invited to be right here on the flight line Wednesday and Saturday evenings starting at 7:30 for two spectacular night air shows. Featured performers include some of the most beloved and some of the newest and most innovative acts. You'll see skillful, world-class, and memorable performances with breathtaking lights and pyrotechnics unlike any others. There will also be a drone light show featuring over 60 synchronized, mesmerizing drones. You won't want to miss this one-of-a-kind aerial display Wednesday and Saturday evenings.
After an action-packed day at Sun and Fun, unwind with live nightly entertainment at the Corn Roast stage in the campground. Savor the taste of freshly roasted corn and soak in the lively atmosphere as the sun sets. With great music, good company, and the perfect evening breeze, it's the ultimate way to wrap up your day in aviation paradise. 6 to 8 p.m. every evening. Performing Monday and Tuesday will be Mountain Brew Band, Wednesday and Thursday, Rusty Trumpet Band, and Friday and Saturday, Eli Mosley.
Getting tired of just grabbing a stale granola bar for breakfast? Want something different and more filling? You may want to try the Vintage Breakfast in a Cup. This yummy breakfast in a cup has eggs, cheese, sausage, and grits. Coffee, water, and lemonade are also available. Breakfast in a Cup is served all week from 7 to 10 a.m. at the Vintage Headquarters Building, located near the East Exhibit.
And now, back to the Sun and Fun Radio Deck, brought to you in part by Green Bay Austin Straubel International Airport.
Welcome back to Chats from the Deck Live, coming to you from the 51st Annual Sun and Fun Aerospace Expo in Lakeland, Florida. Let's turn up the fun at 51. And we are joined on the deck by Kelly Murphy and some friends from WAI. Kelly, Women in Aviation International, I should not forget to say that, in case people don't know. And Kelly's been with us every day at 11 for...
Women Shine.
There you go.
Thank you, Jim.
And I've met your two friends, Tori and Kaylee, and we've talked a little bit off to the side here, and I think we're going to learn some really interesting stuff about what's going on here in Lakeland as far as air transport for packages.
That's exactly right. So thank you again, Jim, for having Women Shine on the deck today. I'm Kelly Murphy, Director of Communications for WAI, and I am joined by Kaylee Botts, the Assistant General Manager here in Lakeland for Amazon Air, and Tori Cox, who is also Ramp Operations Manager. And it's really nice to introduce both of you here on the deck because Amazon is not only a strategic partner of WAI, but a neighbor here at Sun and Fun. So Kaylee, actually I'm going to start with you because everyone knows Amazon is that 24/7 package delivery, but Amazon Air is quite unique in what its capabilities are. And so I'd like you to explain kind of what the transportation and operations network of Amazon Air is all about.
Sure, happy to answer that. So specifically, if we zoom out and we look at the whole operation to be start to end, when the package first gets its shipping label on it all the way to the customer, we start in fulfillment, which is where that package is originating from, where we house all of our inventory, and it gets packed up and put a shipping label on it. Then we move into middle mile transportation. Middle mile transportation is what connects our fulfillment centers to our delivery stations, where we actually load it up into the vans and deliver it to your doorstep. So that middle mile is right where Amazon Air sits, and we are kind of siblings with a sort center. So a sort center, all it does is we're sorting all of the packages connecting from our fulfillment centers to our delivery stations. But what a sort center does is it does it regionally in the area that those two locations are. Where Amazon Air kind of comes in and where we're a little bit unique is that we're still connecting fulfillment centers to delivery stations, which is effectively connecting customers to packages all across the country. So rather than just doing it in the state or region that those buildings are located, we're able to fly packages across the country to serve that same purpose of getting it to our customers by the time that we promised it to them.
It's really interesting to kind of see it as a network, but here we are at Air Show in Sun and Fun, Lakeland. Your facility is right across the airfield, so maybe you could bring us here locally. Sure. What happens there and how many employees? What is the activity?
Yeah, absolutely. So every day we sort hundreds of thousands of packages at my building just across the way at the Lakeland Airport. And what that looks like is we have two main processes. The first is our ground to air process, where, like I mentioned, it comes in from a fulfillment center here locally in the state of Florida. We then sort those packages across one of our 3 different sortation systems, one of which is actually really cool, includes our Amazon Robotics, where we're moving packages with robots through our building. Those packages get sorted, loaded up into containers that get loaded onto the aircraft. That aircraft departs to one of our destinations across the country, and then that plane lands. Those packages get unloaded off the aircraft by one of our partners across the country, and then those packages get sent to customers in that area. Then that same process happens in reverse. Our ramp team, which Tori leads outside on our ramp, they download those aircraft as they're coming in. We bring all those packages into the building, and then we sort all of them, and those packages are actually going to customers here locally in Florida. So we load them up onto trucks and send them out to be delivered to customers here.
What an experience. Tori, I'm going to turn to you because you are actually part of the Women at Air Global Board, which I know you were at conference, WAI conference in Denver, and you were able to meet together as a network. But can you explain a little bit about Amazon's Women at Air group?
Sure. Thanks, Kelly. So Women at Air is an inclusive Amazon affinity group that provides a platform to connect, develop, and inspire women with the goal of enabling women to be successful in their personal and professional lives. So Women at Air has reached hundreds of individuals globally with 100% representation in every Amazon Air site in the US and the EU.
Love to hear that. Multiple 100% you said participation. So all the women that work at Amazon come together in this group. You said not only in the US but in the EU. So how many kind of Women at Air groups do you have?
There's 8 Blue Badge Amazon sites operating in the US and then 1 in the EU, which just celebrated its first anniversary.
Okay, and when you get together for these kind of leadership group meets, what transpires there? Are you sharing knowledge, resources? Explain to me what happens at one of your Women at Air meetings.
Absolutely. So Women at Air has different development programs. We offer workshops for interviewing skills, resume building, and other skill sets that women can utilize to grow in their careers within Amazon. We also most recently had a global chapter summit where we actually utilized gathering at the WAI conference to provide all of the chapter leads globally with the resources to lead a successful Women at Air chapter.
I'd love to hear that, and especially that you met at our conference in Denver last week. Fabulous. So let's talk a little bit more about your WAI conference experience, because I know Amazon was there not only exhibiting, not only having your Women at Air meetings, but you also participated in our scholarship program. So let's talk about the scholarships that you offered.
Amazon offered a scholarship to an aspiring woman pilot as well as an aspiring A&P mechanic this year.
That's great. And were you able to meet them?
Sure. Yeah, I went to the University of South Florida just over in Tampa. And while I was there, I went to a career fair, and Amazon was represented at that career fair. That's where I got connected with a recruiter. They got my information, invited me to apply to the college hire program, which is specifically for operations, where you can come in as an entry-level leader and kind of learn operations from the ground up. So I went through that interview process, loved learning about the leadership principles throughout the interview process, and just got really excited about a career with Amazon at that point. And here we are 7 years later, started as an entry-level
develop your skills in different areas and maybe pursue something different within Amazon Air.
Yeah, absolutely. So I, in particular, want to continue.
Find a cubicle. And when I learned in Amazon,
our warehouse positions, our college hire programs that both Tori and I came through, as well. Our warehouse positions, our college hire programs that both Tori and I came through, as well as every other different opportunity that we have. So the website Amazon.jobs is the best place to start.
Okay, you heard it here. Amazon.jobs is where you can find your next future path with Amazon. Kaylee and Tori, thanks for being here with us, and check us out, WAI.org.
Thanks, Kelly.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Kelly, thank you so much for doing Women Shine as we do every day. Our listeners learn a lot, and it's a fascinating part of Sun and Fun, and we're so glad you're here as a key member of Sun and Fun Radio. We'll be right back in a few minutes after some messages.
Thanks, Jim.
Hello, this is Dave Shellbetter from and with Sun and Fun Radio. You're listening to Sun and Fun Radio, WPEP 788, 1510 a.m. and online at liveatc.net/SNF.
Attention vintage aircraft owners. Are you flying your classic beauty to Sun and Fun this year? Ensure your factory-built aircraft qualifies for our vintage parking. Choose from categories like antique, classic, and contemporary, covering planes built up to 1970. Vintage pilots will be near the island, offering refreshments, entertainment, and support services. Visit the Vintage Hospitality Building for event and camping registration, located west of the Vintage parking area. Camp with your aircraft and explore our Fly-In Early camping package. See you at Sun and Fun.
Craving a classic treat? Come enjoy some delicious fire-roasted sweet corn on the cob for just $3. All to support EAA Chapter 635 from DeLand, Florida. Find us in the West Campground, food court behind Hangar A, or look for our mobile unit around the grounds. We've been roasting corn at Sun and Fun since the 80s, with all proceeds fueling youth STEM education, free Young Eagle flights for kids 8 to 17, and grassroots aviation programs. Grab some corn, savor the flavor, and help inspire the next generation of aviators, one cob at a time.
Sun and Fun wishes to thank our sponsor, Flight Simulation Association. Flight Simulation Association is committed to expanding the impact of flight simulation in real-world aviation. You can visit them at the Bueller Hangar across from the Boeing 727 during the 2025 Sun and Fun Aerospace Expo, April 1st through 6th. For even more flight sim, attend the Flight Sim Expo this June in Providence. You can visit flightsimexpo.com for information and tickets. After an action-packed day at Sun and Fun, unwind with live nightly entertainment at the Corn Roast stage in the campground. Grab a seat next to your sweetheart, savor the taste of freshly roasted corn, and soak in the lively atmosphere as the sun sets. With great music, good company, and the perfect evening breeze, it's the ultimate way to wrap up your day in aviation paradise. 6 to 8 p.m. every evening. Performing Friday, April 4th, Saturday, April 5th, will be Eli Mosley. See you there.
Here's some more info on our Sun and Fun hands-on workshops located near the main entrance of the expo. Never used an English wheel, mallets, or beads to shape metal? If not, the metal shaping workshop is the right stop for you to learn. Have you seen a wooden props carved? If not, come see what it all entails from start to finish. Ever wonder what it's like to gas weld? Come give it a try. The Sun and Fun workshops, where you can learn all the skills needed to build your very own plane.
Discover the incredible mission of Samaritan's Purse at Sun and Fun. Tour their DC-8, the only U.S. registered DC-8 in the world, used for critical relief missions after major disasters. Explore a portion of their emergency field hospital and see the water filtration system that travels aboard this life-saving cargo plane. Don't miss this unique opportunity to learn how Samaritan's Purse brings hope and help worldwide. Tours are open daily. Come be inspired.
Do you get as hungry as I do after spending a full day immersing yourself in all things aviation? If so, you could head down to the campground and enjoy corn on the cob roasted daily. So you can come and see why this has been a Sun and Fun tradition from year one, and sit around the fire and enjoy a night of entertainment with great corn and music for everyone. Located at the Sun and Fun's Convention Campground nightly.
It's Dr. David Kolbaba.
You know, the best protection against the harmful rays of the sun is light clothing. That's right. Thin cotton clothing is about the best way to avoid excessive sun exposure. And this protection comes with absolutely no risks of doing harm, especially important for those of us traveling from the northern states. A wide-brimmed hat is another healthy option to reduce excessive sun exposure. For Sun and Fun Radio, this is Dr. David Kolbaba.
Sun and Fun hosts a Type Club tent during the fly-in. Approximately 20 Type Clubs participate, and their members are eager to share information and answer questions about their type of aircraft and how you can become a member in any of the Type Clubs. Whether you're interested in Cubs, short-wing Pipers, Cessnas, Blancas, or any of the other aircraft represented by their club, you won't want to miss the Type Club tent, located just across the taxiway from the Vintage Hospitality headquarters.
It's Dr. David Kolbaba.
Did you know that when you're thirsty, you're already dehydrated? That's why good old-fashioned H2O is the way to go. Caffeinated beverages, a choice for many who become thirsty, can actually cause even more dehydration due to the caffeine. The early stages of dehydration cannot be detected, and that's why you gotta go with the water every chance you get. For Sun and Fun Radio, this is Dr. David Kolbaba.
And now, back to the Sun and Fun Radio deck, brought to you in part by Green Bay Austin Straubel International Airport.
Welcome back to Chats from the Deck Live, coming to you from the 51st Annual Sun and Fun Aerospace Expo in Lakeland, Florida. Let's turn up the fun at 51. Jim has edited that for me.
I saw that, yeah.
Just in case people didn't know that this was happening in Lakeland.
Well, doesn't hurt to get that out there and to get people geographically oriented to where we are.
Beautiful Lakeland, Florida. It's
beautiful. We were talking about our friend John Long, the announcer that used to be with us every year. He said, "It's beautiful downtown Lakeland, Florida." I said, "John, we're not in downtown Lakeland. We're actually in the southwest Lakeland at the airport. It's downtown for this week."
That's right.
Actually,
That's
it's true.
Downtown Lakeland is actually a nice little place. For years, I came to Sun and Fun without knowing that there was a downtown. I thought Florida Avenue was downtown Lakeland, and then somebody said, "Oh, you're so wrong."
Well, Florida Avenue, 37 Florida Avenue is downtown, goes through downtown. But yeah, it continues on. I mean, we went down to, we stayed at a campground, Thousand Trails Campground, Peace River, a few weeks back. And it took 37 almost all the way there. So it's like, come out of the house, get on Florida Avenue, and just keep going south.
Mm-hmm.
And same thing, once you get past, I forget if it's Memorial Boulevard or something, it becomes 98.
Right.
So 37, 98, Florida Avenue is all the same. And that goes on and shoots north and just keeps going.
Yeah.
But downtown Lakeland is beautiful.
Right.
Munn Park,
Munn
that
Park, and the shops and restaurants around the park there in a sort of a historic district.
Yeah.
It's a very sweet little town, but if you're just passing through, you'd never see it.
Right. Although Lakeland in general seems to be a really happening area. I mean, obviously the airport's booming here. With
airport's doing great.
And I was telling a friend of mine who was visiting for the first time. We were driving down County Line Road, and I was saying when I started coming here 15 so years ago, that was
empty.
That was a pretty quiet little agricultural road, with farm fields on both sides and a few homes. And now it's just all kinds of business, and there's a couple of shopping centers, and it's.
I think it was Tripp that told me that County Line Road is they're looking to make that like warehouse row from I-4 down to State Road 60.
They certainly are doing that already. Yeah.
But what they're doing that I think personally, being in the used to be in the building trade, is it's not a bunch of boxes. The warehouse units that they're building are all different. They're all unique. They have some architectural interest to them. Yes, they're warehouses, but this is also a transportation hub. Tampa is a huge area, and we are centrally located between Tampa and Orlando, so this is an outstanding place. And County Line Road, right there, easy access to 4 or State Road 60.
There's
they're doing a great job.
Huge Amazon facility down that warehouse row, We just finished talking with two of the young ladies from Amazon Air over here in the airport, and people see the Amazon building across the runway, and they see the planes, of course, coming and going. So we know about the air component, this strategic spot in Central Florida, but it's linked to warehouses all over the country, and especially the one right down the road here in Lakeland. So
And that is a massive,
that thing
massive
is huge.
facility.
Yeah.
Yep.
April keeps wanting to see if we can get a tour. Amazon facilities some facilities give tours.
I would imagine.
And,
Sure.
and see the robots and everything doing their jobs. But
Yeah.
I want to find out if they do it there.
Yeah.
And you've got O'Reilly Auto Parts. I got to give a shout out to O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Okay.
I was looking for a golf cart for the radio station, and I bought one, and it turned out to be somebody had kind of taken advantage of me. It was going to cost more than it was worth to fix it. I had already bought batteries from O'Reilly, and I called the guy at O'Reilly, and I said, "Hey, look, it's Dave with Sun and Fun Radio." I said, I got taken on this. Do you guys offer refunds on your batteries? They've still got the caps. They haven't been installed. They haven't done anything. Yeah, sure, Dave. Bring them on by and we'll return. Man, so huge shout out to O'Reilly Auto Parts. They're not a paid sponsor or anything else. Thank you, O'Reilly, for taking care of us in that way. But I will give a shout out to our friends at Plane Tags. They have a special going on. If you go by the Plane Tags booth, you can register for a drawing. I believe it's 4 o'clock tomorrow. It's only people that have registered here at Sun and Fun.
Okay.
And the drawing is for an SR-71 Blackbird plane tag.
And Dave, why are those plane tags so unique and valuable?
Well, they are actually made from airplanes. They're
from the skins or parts
of airplanes,
yeah.
and everyone has information on not only what type of plane it was, but the actual tail numbers. And I'm not sure if they have serial or not, but I know they have the tail numbers because they had actually gifted us some tags, and I gave one to Derek. I said, "You fly this kind of plane, don't you?" And he looks at it and he says, "Not only do I fly this type, I have flown this airplane."
Right, because they had the end,
It had
they
the
had the tail
number
number
on it.
Yeah, right.
So it just happenstance, he got a plane tag that came from a plane that he had actually flown. Not
Which
the
is-
type, but actually that airplane.
Which is a kind of a mixed thing, all right? It's kind of cool to have that memento of your airplane, but to also know that it's in little pieces now. It's like
This is a great instructional moment for student pilots. You better be careful or your airplane is going to be a plane tag.
So
I want to know how they got a hold of SR-71.
That's an interesting question.
This chain they're giving a plane tag, they're giving their keychains, their ID tags, whatever you want to use them for. This is skin from a SR-71 Blackbird.
Yeah, but these people, if these are the people I think they are, they have a lot of contacts at airplane graveyards. And,
and they're it's also Moto Art.
But that's the ones I'm thinking of.
Yeah, Moto Art.
It used to be a great reality show.
They had Wingnuts.
Yeah,
they had a great reality show.
It was a really nice reality show back in the early days of these reality shows.
And our friend Ramona Cox, Sky Chick Ramona Cox, turned us on. She's sponsored by our sponsors, Honda. And Ramona's over there, and she asked me if I could give them a shout-out. So stop by the Plane Tags booth and sign up for a free plane tag drawing on Saturday.
Yeah. So I want to cause a little trouble here because none of us have a piece of paper in front of us that's going to confirm what I'm about to say. But I'm pretty sure I saw on the schedule this morning that the air show today is kind of like Jet Demo Team Day. Because not only do we have the Blue Angels performing today, but I believe we have not one but two, count them, two fighter jet demo teams.
Oh, that's cool.
I believe that's correct.
On the schedule today. I forget. I think one of them was a generic Navy team as opposed to the Blue Angels, which are the very particular Navy team, and I forget what the other one was. But I'm looking at the schedule and going, wait, there's two other jet demo teams on this. This is going to be a cool but very
loud afternoon.
Yeah,
that's right. If you got your kids with you, folks, get the earmuffs or
protect
get
their
them
ears.
But
get them over here
earplugs.
because this is going to be really, really amazing.
It is really cool stuff. And, man, this is the place for kids. We have the new playground at the museum that's open
really?
year-round. Yeah, I got a beautiful new playground at the museum.
I'm not familiar with that. Tell me about it.
Well, that's a playground. I don't have kids, so I don't really know. I'm not really up on the latest playground technology, but
they do.
Maybe Jim can tell us more because he's more involved in that.
They a program started at the museum several years ago called Story Time.
Right.
For little ones. These are
Jenny Lynn Crump tells stories to kiddies.
There you go.
Eric's wife, Jenny Lynn.
And the participation was growing, and they wanted also a place for the kids to be able to play while they're here. and they started raising money for an aviation-themed playground at the Florida Air Museum. And I remember talking with Eric Crump, director of the Aerospace Center for Excellence, about this, and I said, really, is that our mission, to build playgrounds? And he said, well, you got to get them hooked early. And I said, all right. I was a little skeptical, but they built the playground. And they said that their last story time or their peak story time event had over 300 children.
Yeah, that was
there.
the one right. That was one last week. The one right before the fly-in.
And I said to Eric, well, I underestimated that one.
Yeah.
So is this a program that's only during the fly-in, or is it all
No,
year round?
it's all year round.
Actually, it's not during. It doesn't happen during the fly-in. It only happens year round.
Okay.
And it's called Story Time, and they bring kids to the museum, and they tell stories, and they're all aviation or space or something,
that's what I was
STEM
gonna ask.
education
Okay,
type
right.
stories for kids. Jenny Lynn Crump does a great job of it. She's super storyteller. Our friend Amanda Holly.
I was going to say, I thought I
there.
heard that Amanda does it too. Yeah, right.
That was actually the one that Amanda was a guest at, was the one that last week that broke all of their attendance records. You gotta think, it's just cool that they do this for kids, because our mission here is to get kids involved in aviation. So, but no, we're gonna. The museum is actually open again today. Free admission to the museum. Go by the Florida Air Museum. Tell them you heard about them on Sun and Fun Radio. If you visit anybody that you hear us talking about, please make sure you let them know you heard about them from us. It does not bring us any money, but it tells people that we are doing our jobs.
That's right. Like, share, and subscribe.
Like, share, and subscribe. YouTube, Facebook. For Sun and Fun Radio, I'm Dave Shellbitter with Jack Hodgson and Dr. Jim. I'm going to call you right now.
All right, there we go. I'll take it.
Jim Goldman. Jim, thank you. And Jack, thank you both so much for being here.
Hello, this is Mike Harris from Why We Fly General Aviation Podcast. You're listening to Sun and Fun Radio, WPEP 788, 1510 AM, and online at liveatc.net/SNF.
They say you need one airplane to go fast, one to go slow, and one to go upside down. If you're into that third category, you can stop by the Sun and Fun Aerobatics Center and the Curtis Pitts Museum. The Aerobatics Center promotes stall spin awareness, unusual attitude recovery training, and better airmanship through aerobatics. All aviation enthusiasts are invited to stop by the center, located adjacent to the aerobatic tent, and enjoy the shade and hospitality.
Welcome to Sun and Fun. We want everybody to have a great time this year, but there are a few simple rules to be followed. Please be careful around all moving airplanes. Spinning propellers are very dangerous and hard to see. Please make sure your lawn chairs are attended at all times so they do not blow into aircraft or injure people. Please closely supervise your children at all times. No smoking or food is permitted on the flight line. Pets are only allowed in the campground and must be leashed. For the complete set of rules, please go to flysnf.org. Have a great time.
Aviation meets art, and every aircraft is a masterpiece at D-Moore Group, offering Waco biplanes inspired by the golden age of aviation and German-engineered Junkers light sport aircraft. D-Moore's handcrafted aircraft blend timeless elegance with modern performance. 4 models are on display at Sun and Fun. Visit booth MD8A or WacoAircraft.com to see masterpieces designed for true aviators.
Here's some more info on our Sun and Fun hands-on workshops located near the main entrance of the expo. Are you interested in learning about composite materials, layups, hot wiring, and mold making? Want to learn all about fastener types, swagging and safety wiring, or riveting and joining techniques? What about the polyfiber aircraft covering system? Maybe even try some or all of these yourself? Come take advantage of our no-cost Sun and Fun hands-on workshops located at the corner of Tom Mack Road and Crossfield Way.
Get ready to party with a purpose at the Bash, Sun and Fun's signature fundraising event. Join us Thursday, April 3rd, 2025 from 6 to 9 p.m. at the Florida Air Museum. Enjoy a cocktail reception, delectable cuisine, and exciting silent and live auctions. Every dollar raised supports the Aerospace Center for Excellence's year-round STEM education programs, shaping the future of aviation. Don't miss this unforgettable evening. Get your tickets now at flysnf.org/activities.
Imagine ordering medicine for a sick child and having it delivered to your home in just 30 minutes. That's the future of delivery with Wing Aviation, already serving Dallas and expanding soon. With over 450,000 successful deliveries worldwide, Wing is revolutionizing convenience for busy parents, shift workers, and those with mobility challenges. See their cutting-edge aircraft and technology in action all week at Sun and Fun. You can learn more and find out when they're coming to your area at wing.com/Florida.
Hey Sun and Fun fans, we have a new area called the Sandbar, which will be co-located with our Light Plain area in Paradise City and will house food trucks, a large shade tent, picnic tables, and benches. The best part? Sun and Fun Radio will be piped in so you won't miss a single thing from our great interviews to the daily air shows, night shows, and sunset aerial circus. Turn up the fun at 51 and get your tickets now for the Sun and Fun Aerospace Expo in Lakeland, Florida, April 1st through 6th, 2025. The Medical Hospitality Center is located on the corner of James C. Ray Drive and Tom Mack Drive, right across the street from the Piedmont 727. Their staff of highly qualified, professionally licensed doctors and nurses offer triage, suturing, intravenous rehydration, and minimal cardiac evaluation. They have sunscreen, blood pressure, and blood sugar testing, and a limited amount of over-the-counter items. Last year, they assisted with wound care, dehydration, headaches, blisters, insect bites, ear and eye issues, and minor trauma. Please feel free to stop by and visit them.
Here's some more info on our Sun and Fun hands-on workshops, located near the main south entrance of the expo. Interested in composites, epoxies, or fiberglass? Bill Cabrera from FGCI and Mike Bergen from Custom Tech will guide you through the art of infusion and simple vacuum bagging techniques. Expand your skills and dive into the realm of innovation. Or you can rev up your engines and gear up for some serious maintenance and care insights. The Engine Workshop is where we're talking engine maintenance and care. Don't miss out on expert tips to keep your engines running smoothly.
You are invited to be right here on the flight line Wednesday and Saturday evenings starting at 7:30 for 2 spectacular night air shows. Featured performers include some of the most beloved and some of the newest and most innovative acts. You'll see skillful, world-class, and memorable performances with breathtaking lights and pyrotechnics unlike any others. There will also be a drone light show featuring over 60...
And now, back to the Sun and Fun Radio deck, brought to you in part by the Green Bay Austin Struble International Airport.
Welcome back to Chats from the Deck Live, coming to you from the 51st Annual Sun and Fun Aerospace Expo in Lakeland, Florida. Let's turn up the fun at 51, and we are turning up the temperature this afternoon. Well, I'm joined here on the deck at Sun and Fun Radio with my co-host Jack Hudson and Randy Bibb.
Hi, Jim. I'm sorry. We're kind of backing and filling here with guests who are running a little bit late, and so I'm sorry. I'm splitting my attention here in a bad way.
That's all right. Jack, you're on the air.
I'm on the air now, right? Yeah. So, hi, Jim. What's going on? Weren't we just talking a few minutes ago?
We were.
Yeah.
We have been admiring the day out here. You were talking about the jet teams coming up this afternoon.
Yeah.
We're looking for a very loud afternoon here at Sun and Fun today. Several jet demos going on yesterday. The F-35s were out there. I heard them. Of course, the Blue Angels did a rehearsal practice yesterday afternoon.
Yep. And
it's hard to tell it's a rehearsal. They do such a long show.
Right.
But they're going to be doing. Are they doing the full show this afternoon?
I believe they are. I don't see any reason why they wouldn't. Sometimes so these jet teams all have what they call a low show, which they'll do if it's overcast but high enough overcast. But there's no need for the low show today because it's very nearly clear here. There's just a few scattered clouds out on the horizon. So I would imagine it's going to be the full show. And of course, the other difference when they're doing the practice, it's the goal. It's a fun show to watch because there's a lot of loud noises and they do low passes, and it's nice that way. The primary mission of that activity is for the pilots to actually familiarize themselves with the geography around the area. They've briefed it way in advance. They've seen pictures and whatnot, but to actually fly the airspace is important. And they also practice some of their actual routines. And occasionally you'll see them practice the same one multiple times during the afternoon.
Right.
There'll be a particular formation that they'll do, and then they'll do it again later on because they're practicing.
They're practicing. And for those who aren't that familiar with air shows, the jet teams, actually all the aerobatic performers and air show performers, have a boundary called the air show box. And they must do their performance within a certain specified area. They can't go all over Lakeland or all over Polk County. They got to stay within a certain distance of the airport, north of a certain line called the crowd line. I think it's called the crowd line, where our exhibits, tents, and participants are for safety reasons.
Yeah.
And as you're saying, the jet teams will familiarize themselves with the local topography, geography, and where that box is, so they know when to pull up, when to turn, and when to head back in.
Yeah. Another difference with when they do the practice is that there's usually no announcer during the practice session. Although I actually have seen I don't know if it was Blue Angels or Thunderbirds, but I've seen them do a practice session where the announcer is practicing as well.
Oh my goodness!
So
I haven't heard that.
I've once or twice I've seen them do the practice show, event or show, if you will, but with an announcer. That was kind of interesting.
I will plug ourselves for Sun and Fun Radio. If you're a Sun and Fun Radio listener, we do bring you the airshow announcer audio feed on the same channel after 1 o'clock. So just stay tuned.
Yeah, I heard an interesting piece of information this morning, or read that I wasn't aware of. So many people know that there are areas of the airshow grounds here where humans have to vacate during the high-performance jet teams, like the Blue Angels.
Yep.
For example, there's a kind of legend, notorious, if you will, yellow line along one edge of the road over in the campground.
There is.
And no one can be to the north side of that yellow line during the show. Interesting thing, the Amazon facility, which is a kind of a serious facility, part of their lease with, I don't know if it's the county or the airport or wherever, the lease for that facility, the lease specifically calls out that Amazon has to evacuate that facility during these high-performance jet performances, and they've agreed to do that. So sometime today, the Amazon crew get the afternoon off, and
you know they're going to be watching the air show.
Yeah, but they can't do it from
the building,
from that building, or probably from the parking lot or anything like that, because they have to clear the area.
I remember seeing in the campground people setting up their lawn chairs just on that line early in the morning, so they could be right up front. They won't be right up front during part of the air show, but when the jet teams come on, they are at the front row.
Suddenly front row, yeah.
Yep.
It's like having beach property in California someday,
and
maybe.
They used to allow tents in front of that line, and then you'd have to vacate your tent. But it got complicated trying to ensure that everybody was out of the tents, so they now don't allow tent camping up there.
But I just noticed this morning there are a lot of tents. So that yellow line is, and then there's a sort of a berm, a dike or whatever,
right.
to a piece of a body of water. And I was noticing this morning there are tents on top of that berm today.
Are they in front of the line?
They're on the you've got to evacuate side of the line.
Oh, I didn't know. I thought they had done away with that.
I sort of thought that they weren't camping up there anyway, because it used to be a really cool spot to set up your tent.
Yeah.
And I thought as well that they weren't doing that anymore. But I was noticing this morning that there were all kinds of tents. Maybe by now they've made the move. I don't know. But they were there this morning when I walked.
This news just in at Sun and Fun Radio. We're learning for the first time.
Yeah. So what else is going on here? I had a really, really pleasant evening 2 nights ago. A good friend of mine, one of our co-hosts on the Uncontrolled Airspace podcast, 172 Drew, who is a passionate aviation person, but for a variety of reasons has never managed to attend Sun and Fun or the other fly-in up the road, and he's been trying to make it happen for years now, but it just doesn't work. And suddenly, a couple of days ago, we discovered that he was going to be in town for doing a job in Tampa, and I was talking with him, and I said, are you available some evening? We get together, and he said, yeah, I'm available on Tuesday or Wednesday. And I said, Wednesday is a good night here.
Right.
Wednesday's the night air show here. And so I arranged to go and get him. The interesting thing is he didn't quite tumble to the fact that I was talking about bringing him to Sun and Fun. He thought we were just going to get together at a restaurant in Tampa or something like that and have dinner. And at some point he's suddenly going, wait a minute, what are you talking about? I said, no, I'm bringing you to Sun and Fun. Right? He's really? He said, oh yeah. He's cool. And so
he caught the night air show on Wednesday?
He caught the night air show. I actually managed to get him here before dark, so we wandered around the field. We did this whirlwind tour of the grounds, and walked him out along the Warbirds, the exhibit areas here. We went over to Paradise City and watched the airplanes over there for a while. He had a really nice time. It was very satisfying because I knew he would love it. And now I've got my foot in the door. Now I'm going to convince him that he needs to not schedule work during this week.
That's a very common thing. I've done that, and I know many others have done that, where you don't know what Sun and Fun is. You come for a half a day or a day, and you figure, I'll watch the air show, I'll look around. and you get your taste, and then you want to come back for maybe 2 days or maybe 3.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Oh no, see, there's a really not family-oriented joke in there someplace, but we get them hooked.
That's right.
We'll get them hooked. You know, it's like your friend Eric said, you got to get them when they're young.
That's exactly right. Exactly right.
Yeah.
My first time here, I was working, and I could only afford a weekend day, and it was fly into Tampa, drive here early in the morning, quick run around, see what I could see, and get the heck out of here. And I said, geez, I got to do a better job next time.
Did I ever tell you about my first time to Sun and Fun? This was a thing. How we go? I got a minute and a half or so. So I was working at the time with an internet startup, aviation-related internet startup, and we were an exhibitor here and doing the whole thing. And the president of our startup discovered that back then the Bud Light blimp was going to be here. All right, and our president decided that our company needed a blimp with our name on the side. And so he said, you need to go talk to these people and arrange for us to get a ride. And so we got a ride. We came here, went out early one morning, got a ride out to where the blimp was parked, tethered, and got on board the Bud Light blimp here at because they seemed to think that we were actually going to buy a blimp. I don't know, but
or buy space on it.
Yeah, but
advertising space.
That was a lot of fun. We went out. It was early in the morning.
You got a blimp ride.
We got a blimp ride, and
good for you.
Went out to the surrounding terrain and it was a lot of fun. I've remembered that ever since. That was pretty cool.
That is a really neat. Okay, we've just given away the secret. You tell everybody you're about to be an exhibitor, and they give you all kinds of free stuff.
Yeah, really,
Jack, we're going to have to take a break for a few minutes and hear some messages from our sponsors. But we'll be back shortly here at Sun and Fun Radio, live on the deck. This is Pilot Jim G with Jack Hodgson. We'll be back in a few minutes.
Hello, this is Dave Pasco with LiveATC.net. You're listening to Sun and Fun Radio, WPEP 788 1510 AM, and online at LiveATC.net/SNF.
Are you looking for a part or an instrument to help you complete your latest project? If so, you could come down to the Parts Exchange and see if they have something that fits your need. Not building anything? That's okay. You can come out and add to your memorabilia collection or find that next office, studio, or living room aviation piece. The Parts Exchange is your place for aviation parts and pieces for whatever it is you desire to use them for. The Parts Exchange is located in Hangar E.
Win a formation flight, meet aviation celebrities, and demo Bose aviation headsets at Sun and Fun booth number 007. Experience the difference in audio clarity and clear communication with Bose. When you purchase an A30 or ProFlight Series 2 headset, you'll receive free Quiet Comfort earbuds. Plus, get 10% off each additional headset purchased at the show. Bose. Quiet the noise, amplify the experience.
Attention aviators, since 1984, Gulf Coast Avionics has been your go-to source for avionics, instruments, and pilot supplies worldwide. Proudly sponsoring Hangar D, they offer top-notch installation and repair services for both certified and experimental aircraft. Come celebrate over 40 years of unbeatable pricing and service. You can visit Gulf Coast Avionics in Hangar D, booth 30 through 33, or check them out online at gca.aero. Fly smarter, upgrade with the best, and see why pilots trust GCA. Welcome to Sun and Fun. Need information or directions? The Sun and Fun Welcome and Information Center is here to help. Find us just inside the main entrance, in the campground near Hangar E, or by the compass rose next to Hangar A. Whether you're looking for event details, locations, or just need a friendly guide, we've got you covered. And if we don't know the answer, we'll find it for you. Let us help make your Sun and Fun experience the best one yet.
Sun and Fun and the Aerospace Center for Excellence are pursuing the mission of a brighter future through aviation with Project Stratos, an aviation leadership and art program. High school juniors submitted aviation-themed essays and original works of art. From the hundreds of entries, a pool of semifinalists and finalists were selected. You can spot these high achievers during the event wearing Project Stratos t-shirts and representing the future of aviation.
Florida families, are you overpaying for insurance? James Boley's local Geico office on South Florida Avenue is here to help. This veteran-owned small business can help you save big on auto, home, boat insurance, and more. They just helped the Lakeland family save $1,000 a year. And with exclusive discounts for veterans, military, and government employees, their rates are so great you'll shout, "Holy moly, Boley!" Call or visit James Boley's local Geico office on South Florida Avenue today, or visit BoleyInsurance.com. Get ready for high-flying action at the 2025 Academic Drone Soccer Student League World Cup. Experience the thrill as top school and college teams from around the world go head-to-head in this fast-paced, full-contact competition. It's an electrifying mix of technology, teamwork, and high-stakes strategy. This year's tournament features standout teams from across the U.S., Puerto Rico, and Turkey, all vying for the ultimate title. Join us for all the action in the Aerospace Center for Excellence Pavilion from 3 to 8 p.m. on Thursday and Friday. Craving something sweet? Grab a treat and support the first ever U.S. high school soaring team. Rockstar Donuts is serving up delicious donuts at the Lakeland Aero Club during the 2025 Sun and Fun Aerospace Expo. All to help young aviators reach new heights. Every bite fuels their journey, so stop by, grab some donuts, and turn up the fun at 51. Let's make this fundraiser soar.
It's Dr. David Kolbaba.
You know, Sun and Fun is synonymous with being outside and walking considerable distances, and the combination of sun exposure, heat, and movement can cause physical challenges to our body. Water, shade, and rest can prevent overheating that can lead to what is known as heat stroke, aka sunstroke. Early warning signs include flushing of the face, nauseousness, rapid breathing, and headache. So pay attention, get your water, shade, and rest. For Sun and Fun Radio, this is Dr. David Kolbaba.
Do you want to tour our entire flight line without all the walking? Get ready for an unforgettable experience at Sun and Fun, sponsored by EAA 797. Take a 20 to 30 minute ride through the flight line area and witness the incredible array of aircraft on display. From vintage classics to cutting edge marvels, there's something for everyone. Don't miss this unique opportunity to soar above the excitement. Book your ride today and make memories that will last a lifetime.
And now back to the Sun and Fun Radio Deck, brought to you in part by the Green Bay Austin Straubel International Airport.
Welcome back to Chats from the Deck Live, coming to you from the 51st Annual Sun and Fun Aerospace Expo in Lakeland, Florida. Let's turn up the sun. Let's turn up the fun at 51. There we go. I need more practice. I've only done that 12 times today.
Right.
I'm here with this is pilot Jim G at Sun and Fun Radio with my co-host Randy Bibb. And Randy, we're about to talk with Evan Ryder from the Flight Simulation Association about what's going on with flight sims. Randy, you're a jet and corporate pilot. You use sims a lot, I bet you do, in your work. Is that right?
That's a good question. If you're relatively a high-time pilot, mid-time pilot, there are exceptions to the sim and going to Simucom or flight safety. I don't want to say ways around that, but there are alternative ways of training. They actually come to us. The examiner comes to us. The training officer comes to us. We get in our airplane. Well, with the full-on class work and testing, sure. And then we get in our own airplane and go out and learn. And then the examiner comes to town and we do an actual check ride annually for that recurrent. That's very, very expensive, but our schedules are so tight and it's just very convenient to get our group together to do that. But there are much, much cheaper alternatives.
Evan's going to tell us about things you can do outside the corporate training environment, right, Evan?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, thank you for having us. Appreciate the opportunity to be up here. And we're mostly focused here at Flight Simulation Association on the home flight sim environment. So less about adding time to your logbook and more about saving time when you're in the training environment, whether that be getting your private certificate to start off with, or even when you are training for a new type in the corporate world or, say, with the airlines, too.
How did you get involved in the Flight Simulation Association?
Yeah, we started it. I'm one of the two co-founders of the association. We now run a show that's called Flight Sim Expo, an annual convention that happens once a year, with the one coming up here in Rhode Island, Providence, just a couple of months away. But this all started for me just as a passion and a hobby. I got involved when I was much younger as a kid, kind of going up through high school in flight sims, first as a game, and then it was like, okay, well, this could actually be quite helpful as I'm going to get my private certificate. it. And then it was, this could be quite helpful as I'm trying to get my instrument. And as that sort of progressed, it became obvious that if we could help tie together a number of the different small organizations that make up the home flight sim community, there'd be a big advantage there and a way for us to help make more pilots aware of just what this stuff can do. And so Flight Simulation Association and our show Flight Sim Expo was just really born out of that organic, okay, there's all these people doing this and it's helping so many people. How do we help share that?
What are you expecting for attendance in your Expo June in Providence?
Hoping for 3,000 or more attendees. We've grown by about 500 people every year. It'll be our 6th show now, having had shows previously in Las Vegas, Orlando, Houston, and San Diego. So we're excited to be up in the Northeast for the first time in our show's history. Should see about 70 to 80 exhibitors, maybe a few more. We're already at 70, and we've still got a couple months to go before registration closes. And if numbers are good, we should see about 3,000 attendees as well.
Wow, fantastic. Well, I have firsthand experience knowledge of what you're talking about. We do young aviator flights and I taught at Oklahoma State. This kid shows up, he's 14, gets in the airplane, does the checklist perfectly, Cessna 172, takes off, climbs out perfectly, adjusted his airspeed, adjusted his pitch, went around the pattern and came back and came right in. And I was like, well, I'm a CFI, I'm see what this kid's got. Came in, squeak, squeak, landed. And I said, oh my God, how you're 14, how many hours do you have? None, sir. I said, my mind was blown. I mean, I got 30-year-olds that can't do what you just did. And he says, Microsoft Flight Sim Pro, sir. So exactly what you're talking about. Yep. You can utilize those technologies to help us progress in our career.
Yeah, absolutely. So Microsoft Flight Simulator and X-Plane are the two main platforms that we're talking about and that we typically deal in. And what you're describing absolutely is a very regular occurrence for us, surprising CFIs all around the country. And then add to that, many of them will also be able to talk with air traffic control, which, as you would know, is often a thing that is challenging for someone who's getting into an airplane for the first time.
That was my greatest hurdle.
Right?
And the VATSIM is the network of... These are real FAA air traffic controllers.
Sometimes, yeah.
Who do this voluntarily to help people with their communication skills.
Exactly. So when you step into the airplane for the first time, you already know airspace. You already know air traffic control. That's not a scary part for you. And so you can focus on the hands and feet thing, which you can't really get out of a flight simulator. And all of that other stuff that goes around it is easy for you. That's the advantage, and that's when I say, we're trying to save time in the logbook. That's what it is. So we're not wasting Hobbs' time talking about how to make this radio call. You're just doing it like a second language.
The procedures training as well for just button pressing.
Yes.
And even if you're not flying a flight in the simulator, just to kind of go through in your mind, okay, if I'm getting ready to land, this is my checklist. I'm going to do it so that when you get in the airplane, you still use a checklist, of course, we always do, but when you get in the airplane, it's rote memory because you've done it 1,000 times at home rather than the instructor sort of coaching you through each step.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm an airline pilot as well. I fly the CRJ now, flew a few regionals before that, and each time that I go into a new type, that's what I'll do. I'll boot up the simulator at home, and the cockpit poster that we get, you could press a button and nothing happens. It's a poster. But in the simulator, you can actually turn the battery master on and stuff happens and things light up and you actually see the other side of that. And this is something that any airline pilot or any pilot can have available for $60. If you don't want to fly the simulator, you literally just need a computer or an Xbox or even a phone and a $60 license, and you have access to so many airplanes and such a wonderful resource. Of course, if you get on VATSIM and you start talking to the controllers, it's that much better.
Let's talk about the airplanes. Everybody wants to see a panel that looks like their airplane. And flies like their airplane. How close are we to that?
I think, technically speaking, it can pretty much be done. So there are a number of airplanes that just show up in the simulator by default. You can then go and download additional airplanes. Some are free, some you buy. And when you talk about avionics and panels, we have systems called Air Manager that allow you to effectively turn anything into a panel. So a touchscreen monitor or an iPad, you can make that a G1000. And you can click on it and interact with it with your finger, just like you would with the actual airplane. There's physical devices now. There's actually something called a knobster. That's like just the knob off a G1000.
The knobster.
Knobster.
Okay.
And so you can click with your finger on the knob that's virtual on the iPad, and then use this physical knob to change the radio or change the baro just like you would on the airplane. So that's a really common thing that we see. It's possible to simulate and replicate your exact airplane, but it may not be the best thing to do because your airplane is going to have some little quirk that's hard to put into the simulator.
Right.
And so when we talk about home flight sim, especially for real pilots who are already flying once or twice a month, I would say go to something that's a little bit different. So if you fly a single, fly a light twin, just to get that different feel and different experience, so you're not trying to replicate the exact hands and feet. Because like you said, it's more about ATC, it's more about VATSIM, it's more about getting involved with the home flight sim experience and just flying in between flights than it is about, I want to see my exact airplane. But your commercial, your G1000s, that kind of stuff, very easy to get those. And
So-
you can get a physical one or a virtual one.
Moving forward a little bit in our career and what we're talking about here, I know that you're allowed to log some of your instrument approaches on these devices and maintain currency. Tell us a little bit about that. That's an interesting rule that they allow us to do.
That's right. So generally that would be in a certified device, which is technically possible to have in your home. And then you're typically going to need to have a CFI present as well. So, whether that makes a whole lot of sense or not is up for debate in the home environment. But certainly in FBOs and flight schools, you see plenty of that. And so that would be your Redbirds, your Frascas. Gleim also has a BATD that's a certified device. Those things can absolutely be involved in the home sim experience, but in my world, I'm typically talking to people about a non-certified device because I'm saying, again, let's save time from the logbook. Let's give you the opportunity to not have to do as much in the airplane, get the minimum, and feel comfortable versus having to go that much further beyond the minimum, if that makes sense.
Yes.
You can put as much money in as you can dream of into these.
Correct.
What's a good starting point? What advice would you give somebody in terms of how much to get started on?
A good starting point is take the computer that you may already have, or else go out and buy a maybe $1,500 gaming laptop or desktop. Go on Amazon, search Flight Sim controls, and buy a cheap joystick or yoke. Get a headset like the one we're wearing with a microphone, and you're ready to go.
Where are you on the field?
$2,000.
Where are you on the field here?
We are here at Sun and Fun Radio.
I mean,
on the deck.
You have a booth.
Wait, you mean where are we at this show?
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
A
I mean,
booth.
that would be easy to get started. You can see some of those examples in the Bueller Aerospace Center, across from the Boeing 727 near the
Beautiful,
entrance.
right across from the 727.
That's right.
Pilot Jim G, Randy Bibb. Evan, thank you so much for coming and telling us about Flight Sim Expo coming up. This is Sun and Fun Radio.
Hello, this is Larry Overstreet. You're listening to Sun and Fun Radio, WPEP 788, 1510 AM, and online at liveatc.net/SNF.
Hey everybody! Sun and Fun has invested in providing a better Wi-Fi experience for its guests. We are pleased to offer free Wi-Fi in most of the core areas of our campus. Just sign into the network named SNF Free. That's SNF Free.
Since the very first Sun and Fun, volunteers have been the heart of the fly-in. Our success depends on dedicated volunteers, and that could be you. Your life experience will help us engage, educate, and accelerate the next generation of aerospace professionals. We have all kinds of opportunities to volunteer, from fly-in support to educational events and field trips at many year-round community events. Volunteers earn valuable benefits, but you'll gain new friendships and experience new adventures. Find out more and get started. Just visit volunteer.flysnf.org for more info about volunteer opportunities at the Aerospace Center for Excellence and the Sun and Fun Aerospace Expo.
Need a pick-me-up? Swing by Legendary Aviation Coffee Company, your official coffee sponsor of Sun and Fun. You can find them in Hangar A at booth A1 or on the flight line across from Coconut Flyers. They're giving back. 10% of all sales in Hangar A and 25% of flight line cup sales go to Sun and Fun's nonprofit. And for all of April, 10% of online sales at legendaryroasters.com supports the cause. Sip, enjoy, and make a difference, one legendary cup at a time.
Kick off Sun and Fun 2025 with an unforgettable opening night concert on the Warbird Ramp, sponsored by Wealth MD. On April 1st, 2025 at 6:30 p.m., Tyler Hubbard and Uncle Kracker take the stage for a country music celebration under the stars. Ditch the sneakers and throw on your cowboy or cowgirl boots. Make it the perfect date night or a night out with friends. Grab some great food and bring a blanket or chairs and sing along to your favorite hits surrounded by airplanes. This is a show you don't want to miss.
You can help save lives by donating blood at the Big Red Bus at this year's Sun and Fun Fly-In. You could literally be saving the life of a hospital patient. The annual Sun and Fun Fly-In blood drive is Tuesday through Sunday, 9 a.m. till 5 p.m. Each day is a great opportunity to help others. All blood donors receive a custom Sun and Fun fly-in t-shirt plus a $20 e-gift card. You can make an appointment to donate blood at oneblood.org/sunandfun and share your power to save lives.
Sun and Fun wishes to thank our sponsor, Flight Simulation Association. Flight Simulation Association is committed to expanding the impact of flight simulation in real-world aviation. You can visit them at the Bueller Hangar across from the Boeing 727 during the 2025 Sun and Fun Aerospace Expo, April 1st through 6th. For even more flight sim, attend the Flight Sim Expo this June in Providence. You can visit flightsimexpo.com for information and tickets.
Moms of preschoolers, it's time to blast off into reading. Story time at the Florida Air Museum is here every Tuesday morning at 10. It's an amazing interactive learning experience for kids 2 to 5.
Hi, I'm Miss Jenny Lynn. Come read, sing, and learn with me.
Come to explore the universe with rockets, planes, and space. It's free. Story time, Tuesdays, 10 a.m. at Lakeland's Florida Air Museum.
Are you looking for a part or an instrument to help you complete your latest project? If so, you could come down to the Parts Exchange and see if they have something that fits your need. Not building anything? That's okay. You can come out and add to your memorabilia collection or find that next office, studio, or living room aviation piece. The Parts Exchange is your place for aviation parts and pieces for whatever it is you desire to use them for. The Parts Exchange is located in Hangar E.
Enjoying all the aircraft is one of the leading reasons people come to Sun and Fun, and we are pleased to open Flightline access to all of our guests. However, please help protect people and aircraft by following a few simple rules. Warning: aircraft in motion have spinning propellers that are very dangerous and hard to see. Please avoid all moving aircraft. Do not touch aircraft without the owner's permission. Always be aware of belt buckles, cameras, and other hard objects that could scratch or dent the airplane. For the complete set of rules, please go to flysnf.org. Have a great time this year.
Sarah and I founded Shoreline Aviation Insurance to fill the gap in personal service and experience. Our team has over 100 years of aviation experience combined. We understand our customers' needs from their perspective. That's the Shoreline advantage. Chances are, if you're doing it in aviation, we've done it. You get a real person when you call. Relationships with our customers and underwriters are key to our success. You can contact us at shorelineaviationinsurance.com or 800-747-0825.
And now, back to Chats from the Deck Live, sponsored in part by the Austin Straubel Green Bay International Airport. FlyGRB.com.
FlyGRB.com, that's right. Our name sponsors of Sun and Fun Radio, and we love every one of our sponsors. We couldn't do it without them. Welcome back to Chats from the Deck Live, coming to you from the 51st Annual Sun and Fun Aerospace Expo in Lakeland, Florida. We're turning up the fun at 51. I knew I was going to goof that up sooner or later,
Yeah,
Jack.
well, it's inevitable.
I'm reading it off the script, and I still goofed it up.
Yeah,
That's what
all right.
happens when I ad-lib.
It's all right. It's live radio.
That's it. I'm Dave Shellbitter, volunteer chairman of Sun and Fun Radio. Stressing volunteer. I can't be fired. Well, I can, but. And joining me is Mr. Jack Hodgson, otherwise known as one of the voices in your head from the Uncontrolled Airspace General Aviation Podcast.
Yeah.
Who has been my friend since the Do I Know You Sir days.
Yep. A long time ago.
Like
A long time ago.
2006, 2007,
Yep,
around then.
like
We've known
that.
each other for a long time.
Yeah.
And, we've got a guest here. I'm going to just sit back and let you introduce our guest.
Yeah, we're being joined in this segment by Lisa Hutton. Lisa is with the Airspace Auctions. Welcome, Lisa.
Thanks for having me, Jack.
You're
It's
very,
great to be
very
here.
welcome. I know this is not you. You've been here before. You've done a fair amount of these. David, I should tell you, Lisa's a little nervous. We got to make her comfortable, all right? Because normally the spokesperson for her organization is your business companion husband.
Yes.
Whose first name is
Matt.
Matt is not here today because Matt is like wasting his time doing what?
Flying a JMB VL3. He's in the process of building time, so he will be ready to start giving demo flights as we are a new dealer for JMB.
Yeah, so our heart bleeds for him.
Yeah, I know, for real.
Yeah, I know.
Well, I'm
Okay.
gonna step away for a minute from our auctions topic. Tell me about that. I don't recognize that designation.
The JMB?
Yeah, what is that?
It is, so the VL3 is a low-wing composite aircraft.
Light
Two of
sport?
us. It's an experimental. It's ELSA.
Okay.
It is retracked, so when
Nice.
we get around to Mosaic, it will fall under light sport.
Cool.
It's very fast, so you're going to cruise about 1,100 miles at about 180 knots,
And what kind of fuel burn?
7.5 gallons an hour.
Oh, so in other words, the thing hates gas.
Exactly.
Wow, that's
Two
cool.
adults, 50 pounds of
Nice.
bags.
You going to have them here? You're going to be displaying them here next year? Or are they
Well,
here?
they already are here. You can go find their static display, and I'm
Great.
a little
Okay.
directionally impaired.
And the
That's right.
reason
she's pointing towards a 2-story FAA building,
Yeah.
so
And-
they're out
and
there somewhere.
The reason you're so knowledgeable about this particular airplane is you're knowledgeable about a lot of airplanes because your business, Airspace Auctions, does online auctions, helps people buy airplanes. Tell us a little bit about that. How does that work?
Yeah, so we had a little bit of discontent with a couple of our experiences buying aircraft, and we wanted better data before we would even leave our home to go look at an aircraft. So we decided, with the changes in the development and increased comfort with digital media and the proliferation of places like Cars and Bids and Bring a Trailer, we saw that there was really a place for buying and selling high-value assets at a fair market value online using auctions. And this is just the best iteration of ways to securely purchase an aircraft with great documentation at market value online. It's the most efficient environment you can use to purchase an aircraft.
Mm-hmm. So I think the online auction that I'm going to make finger quotes auction that most people are familiar with would be eBay. How does your system compare? Do people? Is it a live auction online, or is it sort of queued up like other auction systems?
So it's queued up like other auction systems, like Cars and Bids and Bring a Trailer, like eBay. Except I'm resistant to comparing to eBay because something that we do that's very different is, one, we have extensive documentation, full logbooks, hundreds of images, NTSB data, FAA data. All of the data that you would want to look at, you can look at from your phone at 3 a.m. when you can't sleep and you're dreaming about your next bird. Before you ever leave your house, you don't have to go and see any of these things. You can fully vet the aircraft. In fact, we commonly sell aircraft sight unseen at fair market value. So the way that we really differ from eBay is the data aggregation all in one place, and we have clear conversations with all buyers and sellers. And that's one of our gates to ensure that there's no fraud, that there's everything is honest and disclosed and transparent. And we further that by following up the sale. The actual transaction is handled through third-party title and escrow with AIC Title. We use them exclusively. They do a great job. They make all of our lives easier.
Mm-hmm. So if someone is listing their airplane with your service, do you merely suggest that they provide us information, or is it a requirement before you'll let the listing go live?
I have stringent documentation requirements because this doesn't work if it's not clear, if the information is not clear and online. And so when someone engages with us, we work with them to do a market study, figure out what they might be able to expect at the auction, expect to collect at the auction. If they're comfortable with that, we'll set a reserve that they feel comfortable with and we feel comfortable with. Some of our auctions are non-reserved auctions. Most of them are reserved. And then we'll come and we'll document the aircraft completely. There's no fee to a seller unless the aircraft sells, but I sell 90% of the aircraft I list, so people that work with me generally are going to owe me money. And we'll do the full documentation, everyone, and then it's published and search engine optimized and all of those things that make sure that all of the aviators get to see it. And then we run the auction, and it's the financial transaction is typically completed within a week after the close of the auction, and the aircraft is typically picked up in 2 weeks. Yeah. And there really just is no easier way. We kind of we have a get the let out kind of attitude about things.
Yeah.
We just get it done.
Well, I'm sorry, go ahead, Jack.
No, well, I was going to say, so someone who wants to list their airplane and want to sell their airplane, I presume they could go to your website and then there's instructions and begins them on the process of collecting all this information. Is that the way that works?
So there's instructions on how they would contact us. They can submit, some basic data, tail number, hours, basic equipment information, so we can begin to get evaluation together. Then we can make contact with them and have a really educated conversation.
Okay.
And then we can kind of move on to the next steps and figure out if they're going to document their aircraft themselves, if they're going to hire an A&P. Commonly, we'll have a local A&P go to document the aircraft, or if we'll send someone in-house to go to their location.
And
that was actually my question.
Yeah.
Is a pre-buy inspection? Is that you're saying document the aircraft? Are they doing a pre-buy inspection on the bird, or are they just tracking the paperwork?
So at this point, what we're doing is we're documenting the aircraft as it is. Most of our listings have recent annuals within the last 90 days, and we know that there's varying levels of annuals, but you can look at the entry and see if it was a thorough annual or not. We are working on a program with a couple trade partners to work out a pre-buy inspection for some of our more premium listings. And that'll be coming soon at Airspace Auctions, maybe a couple months down the road.
Okay, so I see an airplane on your website, and I see it's up for auction, and I like what I'm seeing, and I place a bid, and I win the bid. Do I have the right to have an inspection, or is it you bought it, it's yours?
So
that's kind of what I'm wondering about pre-buy inspection. That's why I'm asking about it.
A winning bid is a commitment to purchase the aircraft, but we provide such strong documentation on the front end and the opportunity to go inspect the aircraft in advance of the auction. So all of that is expected to be completed before you place your winning bid.
And then I want to step back a little bit from what Dave's question. Your prospective buyers come to your site. Is there some sort of qualification process before they're even allowed to bid? How does that work?
Oh, yeah, of course. We'll have a couple conversations. Typically, sometimes we don't talk to people. Sometimes they just register to bid. There is a deposit that's required in advance of being able to place the bid, and this keeps everyone honest. It's very easy to click a button without necessarily being fully committed.
Yeah. Well, that's great. That's pretty interesting. So are you guys exhibiting here at the Fly-In?
Yeah, we're in Hangar C, and our home base is in Central Texas. And we have aircraft listings all over the world, and all of the aircraft stay where their home is until their buyer comes and picks them up.
And for the people, I was just going to say, for the people that aren't here, what's your website?
Airspaceauctions.com.
Airspaceauctions.com.
Thank you.
Lisa Hutton, airspaceauctions.com. We appreciate you making time.
Thank
you did a great job. You don't need your husband. You did a great job.
That's exactly what I was going to say. Tell Matt he can go flying. You're all set.
Fly. That's what I said earlier. The only excuse for not being here is flying. So
that's right.
We have to forgive him this time, but you did a great job.
You guys made it
so
easy.
much.
Thanks, guys.
All right, we'll be back in a few minutes with another great interview.
Hello, this is Dave Pasco with LiveATC.net. You're listening to Sun and Fun Radio, WPEP 788 1510 AM, and online at LiveATC.net/SNF.
If you or someone you're with requires urgent medical assistance, please call 911 immediately. If practical or less urgent, you can visit Sun and Fun's Medical Hospitality Building and Tent located on the corner of James C. Ray Drive and Tom Mack Drive, right across from the big Piedmont jet near the main entrance. Medical Hospitality is staffed from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. by licensed volunteer doctors and nurses. From sunburns, blisters, and dehydration to insect bites, headaches, and stomach pain, they are ready to help. And water and sunscreen are always available, free of charge. If you would like a truly first-class, adult-oriented experience at Sun and Fun, consider the 927 Club. Located at Airshow Center on the Warbird Ramp, the air-conditioned 927 Club Chalet features an all-new menu by renowned chef Marcos Fernandez. The 927 Club features amenities such as full breakfast and hot lunch, Wednesday and Saturday evening happy hours and dinners before the night air shows, complimentary soft drinks and snacks, complimentary beer and wine from 3 to 6 p.m. daily, and exclusive airshow seating on the patio facing Airshow Center. The full menu and more information is available at flysnf.org.
Imagine ordering medicine for a sick child and having it delivered to your home in just 30 minutes. That's the future of delivery with Wing Aviation, already serving Dallas and expanding soon. With over 450,000 successful deliveries worldwide, Wing is revolutionizing convenience for busy parents, shift workers, and those with mobility challenges. See their cutting-edge aircraft and technology in action all week at Sun & Fun. You can learn more and find out when they're coming to your area at wing.com/Florida.
Every afternoon, Tuesday through Sunday, Sun & Fun is proud to present the Daily Air Show, brought to you by Shell and AOPA. You can join us at the flight line for exciting air show performances with highly skilled pilots flying all types of aircraft. The Daily Air Show lineup includes a variety of aircraft such as ultralight paramotors, gliders, World War II fighter planes, modern aerobatic and race planes, as well as military fighter jets. The displays of masterful flying will delight the crowd every afternoon all week long.
Attention all aviation enthusiasts. Don't miss out on the Innovation Showcase at the Future in Flight Plaza. Discover cutting-edge technology from leading companies like Aerosys Tech, Aileronics Grindstone, Lift Aircraft, and more. From FlightSim.com to Molnar and beyond, this is your chance to see the future of aviation in action. Join us and explore the latest innovations shaping the industry. You can visit the Innovation Showcase today in the Future in Flight Plaza.
Florida families, are you overpaying for insurance? James Boley's local Geico office on South Florida Avenue is here to help. This veteran-owned small business can help you save big on auto, home, boat insurance, and more. They just helped the Lakeland family save $1,000 a year. And with exclusive discounts for veterans, military, and government employees, their rates are so great you'll shout, "Holy moly, Boley!" Call or visit James Boley's local Geico office on South Florida Avenue today, or visit boleyinsurance.com.
Sun & Fun visitors can attend any of our educational forums at no charge. The Sun & Fun educational forums will be held on the event grounds at the Central Florida Aerospace Academy that houses 11 classrooms, each with a different forum every hour. Over the course of the week, you will have a choice of over 250 forums with topics ranging from international flying to sheet metal construction to how to buy your own aircraft. You will find everything you need to dust off the wings and polish up your skills and ratings. You can check out the Sun & Fun program or www.flysnf.org for a forum list and schedule.
Calling all aircraft owners, builders, and restorers who flew their aircraft to Sun & Fun, make sure to register for aircraft judging. From Tuesday through Friday, have your aircraft judged alongside your fellow aviators. Whether it's home builds, light planes, seaplanes, rotorcraft, ultralights, warbirds, or vintage classics, we've got a category for you. Winners will be celebrated at the Aircraft Judging Awards ceremony on Saturday evening at 6 o'clock p.m. in the Prop 75 building. Check flysnf.org for more details.
Here's some more info on our Sun & Fun hands-on workshops, located near the main entrance of the expo. Your requests have been heard loud and clear. Lincoln Electric is back to share their wealth of knowledge on TIG welding techniques. Make sure to stop by their workshop off Tom Mack Road to learn and engage with their skilled representatives. Get ready to spark your creativity. Join us for an unforgettable experience filled with learning and exploration. The Sun & Fun hands-on workshops. See you there.
After an action-packed day at Sun & Fun, unwind with live nightly entertainment at the corn roast stage in the campground. Savor the taste of freshly roasted corn and soak in the lively atmosphere.
And now, back to the Sun & Fun radio deck, brought to you in part by Green Bay Austin Straubel International Airport.
Welcome back to Chats from the Deck Live, coming to you from the 51st Annual Sun & Fun Aerospace Expo in Lakeland, Florida. Let's turn up the fun at 51. Randy, we are having a good time this afternoon, and I want to learn a little bit about the Aero Club Tango 31, founded by a good friend of Sun & Fun Radio, Kevin Lacey, who unfortunately is no longer with us. So we have some of the guests here from Tango 31. Is that right?
We do. We have 4 young aviators here, and we'll chat a bit about the Kevin Lacey legacy. We'll come around to that, I'm sure, and you guys want to, give a shout out, say some words there. But there's 4 of you. Can you just lean in and introduce yourself quickly, and we'll go from there.
My name is Max Hosner. My call sign is Brillo, and I joined the club back in August of 2023.
My name is Lance Meisberger. My call sign is Roper. I joined in December of 2022, and I'm a A&P intern and working on my private pilot's license.
My name is Savannah. Call sign Thunder, and I joined the club about 3 years ago in July, and I'm at Spartan College of Aeronautics working on my commercial.
Very nice.
Hi, I'm Sahara Billman. My call sign's Ponytail. I've been in the Aero Club since the beginning. I'm an original club member. Soloed in the club, got my private license, then got a scholarship to Riddle, and now I do aerial photography.
Well, I know Kevin, he didn't play favorites at all. So, Kevin, he didn't single out someone named Ponytail at all. And I've heard so much about Ponytail from as long as you've been coming here.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
He held each and every one of us a special place in his heart.
Yeah. So we can get into a little bit of that if you want, if you've got something to say.
Yeah.
For those that you don't know, like Jim just said, Kevin is a dear friend of us, a dear friend of Sun and Fun, and unfortunately, Kevin passed away. He went west, as we say in the business. Miss him already, and we've got some things planned out in the very near future. So, Ponytail.
Yeah. So, I mean, Kevin, more than Airplane Repo for what he was known for, I think we can all agree his greatest legacy is the Tango 31 Aero Club. Every single member has been such benefited by this club. We're all excelling in our careers, and Kevin's legacy will not only live on through the club, but through each and every one of our career and educational journeys. And he was such a selfless man, and I know, personally speaking, he was like a bonus dad for me.
Right, I saw that.
Yeah, he took each and every one of us under his wing, no pun intended, and really showed us the ropes. Not only the mechanic side and the flying side, but just how to be a good person. I mean, we learned life skills through the Aero Club that we're going to carry with us for forever.
Yeah, to piggyback off of that, Sahara said Kevin was so selfless. And he really was. Kevin had a really rough start in aviation. And, his main goal, he had a lot of doors slammed in his face, when he was trying to start out. And Kevin's main goal, as he, was well known and was established in his career, was how can I give back to the next group so that they don't have to go through what I went through. And it was very evident because he let a bunch of us teenagers into his personal hangar to lose all of his tools and to give him a run for his money. And he ran around with us, 3 days a week and coming out to all these air shows and running around with a bunch of kids. We gave him a run for his money. And, he really did take care of us. He really was like a bonus dad. And he wanted each and every one of us to succeed. And he bragged about each and every one of us and took all of our accomplishments and was like, really promoted us and was really proud of us individually.
Yeah, in speaking with Kevin frequently that I did, Tango 31 was always a point of conversation. Always.
He never wanted to focus on him and aircraft repossession and what he's known for. Anytime a fan or anyone would walk up to him, he would put one of the club kids in front of him and say, talk to him or talk to her, ask what they're doing. They're doing a lot of cool things.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
I was going to say, whenever you would walk around him and someone would ask him, like, who we are, and he would just call us his kids. Like, he straight up would say that, these are my kids. And that was another thing that you could tell he really cared for us, because he wasn't like, he would say that these are the club members, but he would always lead off with, these are my kids.
Right. Give us some of the mechanics. How many of you are there in the club? How often do you get together? How much time do you spend? Kind of how does it work?
Well, everyone in the club has to earn the right to fly. So when you walk in the door, you're handed a wrench, and you're not just let loose, but you're taught how to do a certain job, and you become part of the process of maintaining the airplane or doing the 100-hour inspection, annual inspection, or part of the restoration project. And after some time of putting in that sweat equity, you're able to fly. But we maintain the airplanes, everybody involved does, and of course in order to keep flying, you need to keep contributing. So we do everything on the airplane. We time the mags. We rebuild the mags at the 500-hour mark, and we do everything that we need to.
Yeah, and we currently have 2 AMPs. One of them's an IA. One's about to go up for their IA. Lance, Goat Roper, you want to tell them about what you do?
Yeah, so I work at a local flight school and maintain their airplanes, but we're also a maintenance shop. We do avionics installations. We do annual inspections. We pretty much do it all. So I'm learning all around the airplane full time, and then after work I go up to the Tango 31 Aero Club, and I get to keep learning and keep working with my hands, and I get to fly too.
So after work, you do it again.
Of course, just like when I was in high school. I'd come up to the Aero Club.
That sounds great. Thanks. How many members in the club?
So we're at about 25 to 30 roughly. But the whole premise of the club is, you join the club, it's ages 15 to 19.
Yeah.
15 to 19, 20.
Yeah.
And you can remain a member of the club as long as you're within good standing of the club. And Kevin kind of had it set up was like, once you're in, you're in. As long as you're in good standing, you're always welcome to come back home and be a contributing member as long as you see fit. You know, Sahara's been here for 8 years, and she's, you know, already established and getting established in her career and still comes back home. So we have about 25 to 30 club members, but right now we've got about 10 active that are like coming out on club days. And the rest of us are scattered to the wind. I mean, most of us are in college and working on our ratings, so.
So we want to get this out there for sure. You guys are a 501c3 corp.
We are.
So it's very important to raise funds, and that's part of your mission here, to fund the next generation. You're riding on someone else's funds, so we want to raise funds for the next young aviators that step in the door. So, you know, if you have a minute and you have a little bit of time and some money, check out Tango 31 and 501c3 tax donation, tax deductible donation, and boy, they're doing great work. And you know, Kevin's one of those guys that you can never replace.
No.
Right?
No.
So.
They've got a website at t31aeroclub.com, but we have to note that there's an E on there.
Yes, there is an E.
Is there a story behind that?
There is. So Kevin spent a lot of time in Brazil. He did some aircraft repossession down there, and he became an honorary member of a Portuguese flying club. And so they spell it with an E, and so he carried that for when he started the Tango 31 Aero Club. It was like a little homage to his time down there.
That's a neat story.
Yeah.
All right. How do you outreach to other students? How do people find out about you?
So we have social media, we have Facebook, we have Instagram, we have a website, which Savannah can tell you all of those. But, I mean, the way I found out is I wandered into Kevin's hangar, and a lot of us just wandered into his hangar.
Oh, okay.
It's word of mouth. It's people saying, hey, I heard about this Aero Club. You should really check it out. And that's generally how we have gotten people in the hangar.
I remember the story. He told the story standing right here that some cute little bitty thing like a mouse came in the door, and Mom was across the street at some dance class or haircut or something, and came out looking for her kid, and there you are with, you know, greasy up to your elbows, and that's how it started. So that's and you know, that happened to a lot of you guys. You just walk in the door, and that's a legacy he built, and I'm glad to see you guys are going to carry on, and you know, he can't be replaced, but someone can step in his place. So we need, you know, one of you guys. So.
It'll be multiple people. It's going to be a shared effort.
Excellent. Yes. That's great to know. So Brillo, what are you up to? What do you have going on?
I am an instrument-rated private pilot working on my commercial up at U.S. Aviation over in Denton, Texas. So, like, I found actually kind of funny. I found out about the club from my dad works in flight safety ops at Southwest, and he had a buddy who was out at Oshkosh that prior year, who Savannah ended up talking to, and then that guy called me and he goes, hey, you said you wanted to start flying, right? And I was like, yeah. And he goes, why don't you talk to this girl? And I was just like, about what? And she was like, she's in this club, and I don't know, it might be interesting. And then I texted her, or I called her, and she was all sick. And then I showed up, and I've been there ever since.
Like you guys said, it's word of mouth. The reputation spreads. People hear about it, and you get connected. And you'll all be connected throughout your careers. This is Pilot Jim G with Randy Bibb for Sun and Fun Radio. We'll be back after these messages.
Hi, this is Dr. David Kolbaba from HealthQuest Radio, Chicago. You're listening to Sun and Fun Radio at WPEP, that's 1510 on your AM dial. You can catch us live and online at liveatc.net/SNF. So stay with us. More coming right up.
If you missed it last year, now's your chance to witness the most epic night of entertainment in the sky. Sun and Fun 51 is taking the night air show to the next level with an electrifying fireworks celebration featuring drones, lasers, airplanes, pyrotechnics, and more. Don't miss this one-of-a-kind aerial spectacle where the sky is the stage and the show is like nothing you've ever seen before. Wednesday, April 2nd and Saturday, April 5th at dusk at Sun and Fun.
Country music fans, get ready. On Tuesday, April 1st, Tyler Hubbard and Uncle Kracker are bringing the party to Sun and Fun 51. With an incredible 22 #1 hits, Tyler Hubbard will light up the stage with smash songs like 5'9" and Back Then Right Now. Plus, multi-platinum artist Uncle Kracker joins the fun, bringing his signature sound and fan-favorite hits like Follow Me and When the Sun Goes Down. The concert is free with your Sun and Fun admission. Gates open at 6 p.m. on the Warbird ramp. Attention aviators, since 1984, Gulf Coast Avionics has been your go-to source for avionics, instruments, and pilot supplies worldwide. Proudly sponsoring Hangar D, they offer top-notch installation and repair services for both certified and experimental aircraft. Come celebrate over 40 years of unbeatable pricing and service. You can visit Gulf Coast Avionics in Hangar D, booth 30 through 33, or check them out online at gca.aero. Fly smarter, upgrade with the best, and see why pilots trust GCA.
Sun and Fun welcomes our veterans and active duty military. There is so much to see and do at the Veterans Plaza near the main entrance. You can visit the Veterans Welcome Tent, military displays, war reenactors, VA and veteran services, daily presentations in the Air America tent, live entertainment Friday and Saturday at 1700 hours, and much more.
Sun and Fun hosts a Type Club tent during the fly-in. Approximately 20 Type Clubs participate, and their members are eager to share information and answer questions about their type of aircraft and how you can become a member in any of the Type Clubs. Whether you're interested in Cubs, Short-Wing Pipers, Cessnas, Blancas, or any of the other aircraft represented by their club, you won't want to miss the Type Club tent, located just across the taxiway from the Vintage Hospitality headquarters.
Aviation meets art, and every aircraft is a masterpiece at D-Moore Group, offering Waco biplanes inspired by the golden age of aviation and German-engineered Junkers light sport aircraft. D-Moore's handcrafted aircraft blend timeless elegance with modern performance. 4 models are on display at Sun and Fun. Visit booth MD8A or WacoAircraft.com to see masterpieces designed for true aviators.
Discover a true architectural gem at Florida Southern College, home to the world's largest single-site collection of Frank Lloyd Wright architecture. As Florida's oldest private college, FSC is nationally recognized for academic excellence, offering over 70 undergraduate majors. Take a guided tour of this historic and vibrant campus, and don't miss the Ashley Gibson Barnett Museum of Art, Central Florida's only Smithsonian-affiliated art museum. Experience history, art, and innovation all in one place. flsouthern.edu.
They say you need one airplane to go fast, one to go slow, and one to go upside down. If you're into that third category, you can stop by the Sun and Fun Aerobatics Center and the Curtis Pitts Museum. The Aerobatics Center promotes stall spin awareness, unusual attitude recovery training, and better airmanship through aerobatics. All aviation enthusiasts are invited to stop by the center, located adjacent to the aerobatic tent, and enjoy the shade and hospitality.
Here's some more info on our Sun and Fun hands-on workshops located near the main entrance of the expo. Never used an English wheel, mallets, or beads to shape metal? If not, the Metal Shaping Workshop is the right stop for you to learn. Have you seen a wooden props carved? If not, come see what it all entails from start to finish. Ever wonder what it's like to gas weld? Come give it a try. The Sun and Fun Workshops, where you can learn all the skills needed to build your very own plane.
For the first time ever at Sun and Fun, we're thrilled to host the Academic Drone Soccer League World Cup on the evenings of Thursday, April 3rd and Friday, April 4th at the Aerospace Pavilion. Drone soccer inspires students to pursue aerospace and science education and career opportunities by providing a hierarchy of competitions and events that highlight student skills in engineering, aviation, teamwork, and leadership. Get ready for an action-packed showdown.
And now, back to the Sun and Fun Radio Deck, brought to you in part by Green Bay Austin Straubel International Airport.
Welcome back to Chats from the Deck Live, coming to you from the 51st Annual Sun and Fun Aerospace Expo, where we're turning up the fun at 51 right here in Lakeland, Florida. Inside joke there, folks. Welcome back. I'm Dave Shellbitter. I'm chairman of Sun and Fun Radio. This is my 31st week doing radio. I don't do radio for a living. I figure so I've got about 8 or 9 months of experience, 31 weeks. I hope to get to a year. Of course, that's a week a year for 31 years. We thanked as we came into this spot, like we always do, we thanked our sponsor for their support. Another sponsor who's been supporting the radio station for years, our original, back when we called them USA's, underwriting sponsorship announcements, was shortened to just sponsorship announcements, was Shoreline Aviation Services. And Sarah and Glenn came here, and we were talking with them. And well, if you need help, we'd love to volunteer. So much like a lot of our sponsors and supporters, they actually jumped in and they volunteer with us now. I'd like to welcome to the deck Sarah Rutland from Shoreline. Hello, Sarah. Sarah doesn't have a mic. Try again.
Hello there.
There we are.
Great to be back on the deck with you guys at Sun and Fun Radio.
Great to have you back on the deck, and you're literally on the deck. You're volunteering with us as a front deck greeter, greeting all of our radio guests as they come in for their interviews. So I know you volunteered a little last year. What do you think of actually doing a job with us?
I love it. It's a lot of fun. Since I've done several interviews with you here on the deck, it's pretty easy for me to chat with the folks that are coming in and get them ready.
And know what's coming and stuff. Yeah. So flysassy.com. FLY Shore SASI Shoreline Aviation Services Incorporated, Sassy, FLYSASI.com. That's an umbrella kind of name because there's more than one shoreline. Let's start with Shoreline Aviation Services. Tell me about Shoreline Aviation Services.
Well, Shoreline Aviation Services was our primary corporate identity, which grew into, and we did corporate flight management. We have a corporate hangar with offices, and Glenn and I managed, maintained, and crewed together as a crew, one of the few husband and wife teams out there, corporate jets for a living. And then we added the insurance arm, Shoreline Aviation Insurance.
Let's get back to we'll get to the insurance here in just a minute. So you're not renting out a plane and pilot. You're flying other people's airplanes.
That's correct. We would manage the aircraft for them and crew it as well. And in addition to that comes all of the logistics that goes with managing an airplane, whether it's managing the maintenance, managing their logistics for where they're going, cars on the ramp when they get there, hotels when they get there, anything they need, catering for the aircraft. It was a one-stop shop.
So you took care. So if somebody bought a jet for their business, actually it didn't have to be a jet, bought an aircraft for their business, and then they a lot of times, as most businesses do, we don't use this enough to justify the expense. Let's rent it out some. And that's where you guys stepped in and you managed the aircraft for them. That's cool. So you said that morphed into the insurance. Tell me about Shoreline Aviation Insurance.
Well, Shoreline Aviation Insurance is just that. It's an insurance agency that specializes in aviation insurance products. It could be for airplanes. It could be for your aviation business. It could be your aviation property, hangars, businesses, avionics, maintenance. Any type of aviation business or property we manage, and that's our primary insurance. We can do a few other things, but that's our specialty because that's what we call the Shoreline Advantage.
Because that's what you do.
That's what we do. Aviation is what we do, and that's what we've been doing. My husband more than 50 years, myself more than 30. So.
And then the next part of that is Shoreline Travel.
Yep, Travel Shoreline is part of Shoreline Aviation Services under that umbrella now, and so we can arrange any type of travel, business, pleasure, corporate travel, group travel,
a little bit of everything.
A little bit of everything. One thing for the business traveler that travels in their own airplane or a corporate airplane is how do you make those rental cars show up where you're going? Because most of the time you're not flying into the big Class B airspace. You prefer to go in somewhere close to your meetings.
Right.
So it's simple to do if you're willing to put in the work.
And from doing the aviation management, you kind of learned how to do all of that.
That's right.
So you started out managing aircraft. Shoreline Aviation Services manages aircraft, and part of that was finding the insurance, and part of that was booking the travel. And I think it's a great idea that you've kind of spun off to do other services for people that, as a non-aircraft owner, I'm not going to pick up the phone and call Shoreline Aviation Services to book a trip somewhere. But your experience has led to Shoreline or Travel Shoreline. That's really cool. And you have another company that we always laughed about. We can't really talk about it here on Sun and Fun Radio. I got somebody walking by with a camera. All right. He's got one of them fancy little Osmo handhelds. Those are cool cameras. I hear him talking in the background. They're great. So you have the experience and the knowledge on how to book stuff. So you're going to use your experience to help everybody, not just aviators, and that's pretty cool. But the last is you had an ad specialties company, right? Is that what it was? Is ad specialties or is?
Right. Yeah, our other little fun company, and it just has some memorabilia, fun stuff about aviation. You know, pilots kind of crazy for cups and shirts, and so we have a real unique little logo and something.
And you've rolled that into one of your other companies now. It's not carrying the same hauling name.
It is
Hauling Donkey.
Yep, and you can still see it online. And you can click through it through our regular website. We have a brand new website, by the way, encompasses all of that, flysassy.com. Took the old one down, made it all new again, and you can find all of our services there.
Great. Fly, and again, that's FLYSASI.com. FlySassy.com. And I always teased, once I got to know Sarah as a friend, not just a business relationship, a sponsor, behave yourself. Now that she knows me, I don't have to behave myself. I always tell her, Fly Sassy, man, that is just a fitting website for you.
Well, thank you.
But you've got more than, we're talking about your company and stuff and what you're sponsoring, but you guys, you and Glenn have got all kinds of aviation background. You're not just business you guys were crews for Reno Air Races, right?
That's right. And that's what we talk about, what the Shoreline Advantage is. Put it to work for you. Chances are, if you're doing it in aviation, we've done it. And that means, so we crewed Big Red for the Reno Air Races for 11 years, still sponsor them, still insure them. My husband built an airplane, so we know a lot about experimentals. We own antique aircraft, warbirds, certified airplanes. We owned a flight school, one of the few flight schools I've ever heard of that never had a claim. I'm very proud of that, considering work claims. One thing about flight schools, sometimes that happens. But
now, you mentioned that you've owned several different types of aircraft. Do you guys have a personal aircraft still, or you guys
we have 3 airplanes.
What do you have?
We have our original flight school airplane. It's a great 172. She's beautiful, still flyer. My husband built his Glass Air. We still have that. It sat out here in the experimental lot for years and years. And we came out here and had a wonderful time. It was the first retract Glass Air.
Wow.
And she's a beautiful airplane. And then we have a J3 on straight floats at our home.
Oh, that's romantic flying to me. Hanging a door hanging out, and hanging your feet out the door as you're flying.
That's
right. The old J3, and that was the Volkswagen of airplanes, and the 172. See, you actually have the Volkswagen, both Volkswagen of airplanes, in the Cub and the 172.
Yep, and that 172 is such a great airplane. We've talked about, selling it, buying something else, but it's a great airplane. So what if I get there 10 minutes early?
All right, well, our engineers are playing music in my ear, which tells me that it's getting time to take another break. When we come back from our break, we're going to have Mr. Jacob Peed of AV Nation, another supporter and friend of the radio station. Sarah, thank you so much for being here, for sponsoring us. FlySassy.com, FLYSASI.com. Got a question? You can find her here at the radio station. Stay tuned, folks. We'll be back in just a few minutes.
Hello, this is Susan Levitt from Green Bay Austin Straubel International Airport, and you're listening to Sun and Fun Radio, WPEP 788, 1510 AM, and online at liveatc.net.
Enjoying all the aircraft is one of the leading reasons people come to Sun and Fun, and we are pleased to open Flightline access to all of our guests. However, please help protect people and aircraft by following a few simple rules. Warning: aircraft in motion have spinning propellers that are very dangerous and hard to see. Please avoid all moving aircraft. Do not touch aircraft without the owner's permission. Always be aware of belt buckles, cameras, and other hard objects that could scratch or dent the airplane. For the complete set of rules, please go to flysnf.org. Have a great time this year.
Are you an early riser or just want to get started early and take in all of what Sun Fun has to offer? If so, you should come and check out the balloon launch and see balloons in all shapes, sizes, and colors. Daily limited demonstration flights starting at 0700 in Paradise City by commercial firms. You can have your fill of balloons daily. Also, you can see them in the night air shows, and don't forget about the big event, Balloon Race from the main flight line. All excitement begins Saturday between 0630 and 0800. For more information, you can visit the Sun Fun website at www.flysnep.org.
Need a pick-me-up? Swing by Legendary Aviation Coffee Company, your official coffee sponsor of Sun and Fun. You can find them in Hangar A at booth A1 or on the flight line across from Coconut Flyers. They're giving back. 10% of all sales in Hangar A and 25% of flight line cup sales go to Sun and Fun's nonprofit. And for all of April, 10% of online sales at legendaryroasters.com supports the cause. Sip, enjoy, and make a difference, one legendary cup at a time.
Looking to enjoy the air show up close and personal? Want to be right where the action is? Come to the preferred seating area, which is located on the flight line, right in front of the announcer stand. You'll have access to restrooms, some shaded areas, bag storage, and complimentary water. Seating is provided, so you don't even need to bring your own chair. All-day access to the preferred seating area is just $25 per person in addition to the regular admission, and a separate ticket is required. More information and ticket purchases can be found online at flysnf.org.
Hey Sun and Fun fans, we have a new area called the Sandbar, which will be co-located with our light plane area in Paradise City and will house food trucks, a large shade tent, picnic tables, and benches. The best part? Sun and Fun Radio will be piped in so you won't miss a single thing from our great interviews to the daily air shows, night shows, and sunset aerial circus. Turn up the fun at 51 and get your tickets now for the Sun and Fun Aerospace Expo in Lakeland, Florida, April 1st through 6th, 2025.
Sun and Fun wishes to thank our sponsor, Flight Simulation Association. Flight Simulation Association is committed to expanding the impact of flight simulation in real-world aviation. You can visit them at the Bueller Hangar across from the Boeing 727 during the 2025 Sun and Fun Aerospace Expo, April 1st through 6th. For even more flight sim, attend the Flight Sim Expo this June in Providence. You can visit flightsimexpo.com for information and tickets.
Prepare for edge of your seat excitement at the Stoll Invitational during Friday night at Sun and Fun 51. The Sunset Aerial Circus, presented by the new TL Sports Sirius Backcountry, brings aviation's most explosive competition to Sun and Fun 2025. Masters of backcountry flying from all over North America will push their aircraft to impossible limits, demonstrating precision and skill that defies convention. Join host John Jughead Council as he guides you through every breathtaking moment. Catch the action tonight, Friday night at 7 p.m. on Grass Strip 826 in Paradise City.
Sun and Fun offers many services for our handicapped guests. Handicap parking is available near the registration building. Please let the parking attendant know so they can wave you onto the lot. We have a golf cart that will shuttle people from the handicap parking lot to the ticketing window or the scooter rental. You can bring your own wheelchair or scooter, or we have them available for rent on a daily basis near main registration. Please visit the Handicap Services office located on the west side of the admissions building in the Main Gate Plaza, or go to flysnf.org for more information.
Craving a classic treat? Come enjoy some delicious fire-roasted sweet corn on the cob for just $3. All to support EAA Chapter 635 from DeLand, Florida. Find us in the West Campground, food court behind Hangar A, or look for our mobile unit around the grounds. We've been roasting corn at Sun and Fun since the 80s, with all proceeds fueling youth STEM education, free young Eagle flights for kids 8 to 17, and grassroots aviation programs. Grab some corn, savor the flavor.
And now back to Sun and Fun Radio Deck, brought to you in part by the Green Bay Austin Strabel International Airport.
I think that's my favorite. Welcome back to Chats from the Deck Live, coming to you from the 51st Annual Sun and Fun Aerospace Expo in Lakeland, Florida. Let's turn up the fun at 51. We're having a good time here today, Randy.
Yes, sir. Getting close to air show time.
We are. It's going to be an exciting air show. We were tumbling this morning to the fact that there are not only the Blue Angels, and the Blue Angels are awesome, all right, but there are multiple jet teams this afternoon, all right?
Fantastic.
There's the Blues. There's apparently another Navy jet team and a third jet team. So it's going to be a very, very cool but a little bit loud afternoon. It's going to be great. We are joined now in our final live interview segment of the day by Jacob Peed from Aviation Magazine. How you doing, Jacob?
Excellent. Thank you for having me today.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. Tell us a little bit, for those of you who are not familiar, what is Aviation?
So, Aviation is a youth-focused publication, print and digital, and it was really created out of the need to give visibility to high school and youth aviation groups, so bill groups, just really anybody involved with youth and aviation. The Lakeland Aero Club is actually where I was turned on to that movement many, many years ago. And when it was first forming, that's when I kind of got the bug for youth and aviation and saw what it was doing for our young people. Because I didn't come from that background, from academia or flight training, and I'm from rural Iowa. And we didn't have programs. We still don't. I'm working on that.
Right.
So when I saw what was going on down here, it just blew my mind. And I knew, after talking to some of these groups and different mentors, that there was no interconnected line there. There's nothing connecting those groups together. And that was the big, whoa, we need to do something about that.
So what are some of the other programs that you're connecting together?
So on top of the magazine, which the magazine, I'll just touch on this real quick. The magazine is an editorial platform for aspiring aviation personnel. So young people that are telling their dream of what they want to do or what they've done or their process and journey, as well as the mentor groups and mentors that are helping these young people. And so really it's different from everything else that's out there, because we don't have an editorial stuff. We have proofreaders and all that stuff, but all of 99% of the magazine is reader-submitted articles, which makes it completely different from what's out there.
Right.
We don't have an editorial calendar because it's what comes in, and we just put it in the queue. And so that's kind of what that is. The idea behind that is to help elevate young people and their leaders, to help recognize them, help get seen in the industry, to help their future. So. Other things we're doing with that here at it's specific to Sun and Fun is we've launched a program several years ago. This year it's in full force. It's called Tram Talk. So through our sponsorship with Sun and Fun, we get to have a tram that's dedicated for Aviation, and we have young people ride around, find the people they want to interview, and ride around and record it. And so we could go see the show, get the cool air coming through, and get to learn about history and everything aviation with their guests. And it's giving the interviewer experience. My daughter's been one of the main people doing that. And then the interviewee also gets that recognition, and this goes out on YouTube. And it's real fun. It's something that a lot of the young people are wanting to jump on and be part of, as well as old guys like me.
Yeah. Okay. Randy, it looked like you had a question in your eyes.
You touched on a number of things that you're doing. You're doing a lot of traveling, working with colleges in the local area. So tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah. So we support a lot of the colleges. So what we do for our distribution, part of that is what we call bulk distribution, and that is 30 or 10 copies, because we're quarterly on the print side. So this is the print magazine. And we'll send out to any university, EAA chapter that has a youth group, or high school, but the colleges are a big focus of ours. We send them magazines. So, every major university gets this to give out to their students. And then on top of that, we support these different distribution partners by going to their aviation days, their career days, and really trying to hit at the local level rather than just a national thing. So I spend a lot of time traveling. My colleague Tom does the same thing, and we traveled all over the country to make sure we show support to these groups that are really helping the students through, and really sharing their stories and trying to promote the great things they're doing with our young people. We're going to be going up to Auburn for Monday and Tuesday. They've got their business aviation days. We got a booth there. We're going to be doing that, and then we're going to hit a couple more stops on the way back home to Iowa. The college area is kind of the sweet spot. We find that the younger, the high school aged, youth are looking to that age group, as well as us older guys that are interested to see what's going on. We're looking at that age group as well. So we find that a really good content target, because people are interested in what that movement looks like.
Yeah. Is your primary goal to raise awareness? Are you directing people to particular programs? How does that work?
Both. So access is our biggest problem in aviation for young people coming into it, and for many different reasons, valid and some, that's our fault as well, but as an industry. But no, the idea is really, to allow to promote the programs. And we do that several ways. We cover the programs, and then we also have paid advertising, which is what pays for it all. And so we have a lot of good supporters, as we call them, that step up to help recruit for their personnel, but also just an overall awareness. Everybody that's supporters understands that. We got to work together as a group. We can't do this solo anymore and expect the same results, right?
Yeah.
So no, it's really just kind of an overall general access, but we do drill down on the programs for sure.
Yeah. Other initiatives that you wanted to tell us about here today? Future in Flight, I wrote in my notes.
Yes. So Future in Flight podcast is our newest launch. It's our podcast in partnership with Creative Relay Media, which is Sean Starker. He's our host. You guys are very familiar with him. He's a big part here, and we really just go out and find content, young people content, as well as really cool stuff. And we do it in a format that's different than from what's out there. It's more of a storytelling format. And the idea is to, be able to hit this message through all the channels and hit all the audiences. We found out early on, we're youth focused, but we're getting a lot of the industry that's wanting to participate as well, tell their stories. And so the Future in Flight podcast kind of bridges the gap between our print and our digital. But it's really taken off and getting a lot of visibility.
So it's not specifically aimed at one aspect of our industry. It's not just training. It's not just mechanics. It's articles across the broad spectrum of aviation.
Yes, and that's completely by design. I come from aviation publishing, and it's very segmented, and that's good because it's got to be niche and specific.
Yep.
But this is, like you said, Jack, it's access. So we want to, when somebody looks, a young person, say, or an older person, flips through it, looks through it online, the idea is that they can see somebody like themselves doing something in aviation. Yeah. That's the key.
American Dream Tour, is that the thing you were referring to earlier?
Yeah,
we are reaching the end of our allotted time, but do tell us about that.
So the American Dream Tour, we go into high schools and summer camps, and we bring in local personnel or regional personnel to where we're going. We just were in Lafayette, Louisiana last week, landed a Black Hawk helicopter and a Ranger helicopter on the field there, and we had 30 different professionals, all different backgrounds, all different job titles, and they do kind of speed dating, and they mentor these young small groups of kids.
Very
and
cool.
Then drones.
Very cool.
We do.
So where are you here at Fly-In this year?
So we are always located at the Lakeland Aero Club hangar. That's kind of where we got started, and that's where we live.
Up near the main gate.
Yep, right next to the main gate. And then the tram is driving around, but it parks out in front of the same hangar. So.
Okay. And where can people find your information online?
So we're www.avnationusa.com, and then on socials at AviationUSA.
Okay, that's great. Jacob Peed with Aviation Magazine and a lot of other stuff. That's terrific. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Okay, Randy. Well, as we're wrapping up the live interview day here, but there's a lot left over here. We're about to change over to the Daily Air Show, which promises to be just remarkable with multiple jet teams and all the other usual good stuff. So that's happening. And then we'll be back later on this evening with coverage from the Paradise City Aerial Circus. So we're not nearly done yet. Day 4.
Day 4, yes.
Of,
day 4.
The Sun and Fun 2025 fly-in is not even nearly halfway done. And that's it. But anyways, there's more here, but you'll hearing that, and we will talk to you all again tomorrow.
You're listening to Sun and Fun Radio, WPEP 788, 1510 AM, and online at live.
And now, back to the Sun and Fun Radio Deck, brought to you in part by the Green Bay Austin Straubel International Airport.
Welcome back to Chats from the Deck Live, coming to you from the 51st Annual Sun and Fun Aerospace Expo, turning the fun up to 51.
Good afternoon, Jack.
That's the slogan this year.
That's the slogan.
And so okay. Dave was experimenting. Shalvaro was experimenting with different slogans earlier. I liked some of his as well.
Yeah, they were good. They were good.
Yeah, so
we're alive and live. I don't know. He had some sort of rhyming one.
He was on a little roll there with a bunch of different little slogans, and we're gonna have to capture them from the recording and figure out whether we like any of them.
Separation is just as good as they can do. You can see them turning left or right to lose altitude. You may see them pulling back on their toggles to slow. Now our number one jumper is coming in. It is Andy Poole. Let's give him a big hand, ladies and